Chapter 1406. Hong Mei, Huang Shan, and the others were all dragon warriors with countless years of history behind them. Because of their bloodlines and accusations, these 8 dragon warriors had been sitting here all this time, guarding the 9-tailed divine fox. They hadn't even taken a step out of the demon ceiling hill, let alone Demon Island. After thousands of years, some of them had twisted personalities, while others had begun to despair. The dragon race was divided into 4 types: wind, fire, rain, and lightning. Among them, rain was also called water. The gentle Huang Shan was a member of the water race. She also cultivated a water-type mental cultivation method, so she had a gentle personality. Even after thousands of years, she was still as kind and gentle as ever. Hong Mei, we're all here to help. How can you say that? But, Hong Mei wanted to say something else, but the middle-aged man beside her scolded her. Hong Mei, shut up. Calm the heart and suppress the demon. Yes, this man seemed to be the leader of the 8. Amitabha, this old monk will introduce these 8 elders to everyone. Zen Master Heaven Sound pointed at each of them and introduced them one by one. This is the first elder and chief dragon warrior, Jin Yan. These 2 are Hong Mei and Huang Shan, followed by Qing Feng, Lanes, Baihua, Xuanye, and Lui. Each of the 8 dragon warriors had a color in their name. Similarly, there was a mark of the same color on their foreheads, as if to symbolize them. After Zen Master Heaven Sound's introduction, only Huang Shan nodded lightly at Li Fan and the others to show her respect. As for the other dragon warriors, Hong Mei harumphed coldly. The others, including Chief Jin Yan, all closed their eyes and remained silent, as if their only thoughts were on suppressing the demon. Little friends, you're so young, but you've already cultivated to such a level. You're truly talented. Huang Shan couldn't help but praise Li Fan. At the same time, she cast a look of admiration at the others. I've cultivated for thousands of years to reach this level. Big Sister Huang, you flatter me. I've only reached this level because of luck and coincidence. Li Fan cupped his hands. As the saying went, one shouldn't slap a smiling face. Since this beauty Huang Shan was being so polite, his attitude naturally softened a lot. Little brother, you said that we failed to suppress the demons. Why do you say that? Huang Shan's eyes were filled with affection, her gaze never leaving Li Fan, causing Li Fan's heart to race. No matter where he was, being noticed by a beautiful woman would make him happy. Amitabha. Benefactor, please tell me the truth. Zen Master Tianyin sighed, his voice filled with worry. Tianyin, you've lived for more than 300 years. Why are you so worried about personal gains and losses? Hong Mei couldn't help but mock him. Li Fan was secretly surprised. This old monk was already over 300 years old. 300 years old. Elizabeth exclaimed, "You're the birthday girl. It's just an empty job." Zen Master Heaven Note shook his head. Furthermore, this island is filled with outstanding people and is nourished by the divine fox's immortal qi. It's not rare for anyone on this island to have a lifespan of 300 to 500 years. His words shocked everyone present. The path of longevity. Who would be willing to die? Who wouldn't want to live for a few more years? But other than the legendary Parker family, no matter how powerful the rest of them were, they couldn't escape the curse of short life. Humans only had a lifespan of 100 years. It wasn't short, but it wasn't long either. After all, a house's property rights lasted for 70 years. From the beginning of humans, they went to school for 20 years, worked for 20 years, and spent the rest of their time taking care of their children. By the time their children settled down and started a career, they were already in their later years. This kind of time was too short. But if they could double or triple their lifespan, what would it be like? Thinking of this, they couldn't help but feel excited. This wasn't a demon island, this was a treasure island. There was a true path of longevity here. No wonder the people on this island were willing to call that demon the Divine Fox. Although she was a disaster, she was also the guardian of this island. Everyone looked at each other and saw the ecstasy in each other's eyes. This is great. Through the monitor, the Imperial officer who saw this scene was also ecstatic. This was a discovery that transcended the era. He could rely on this to become the president, the greatest president in the history of the Empire. Because he had found a future for the entire human race. This 500 million is worth it. Worth it. The officer was hugging the screen and kissing it. So lucky. I'm so lucky. It seemed like even God was helping him. Don't worry, officer, I will definitely complete your mission. Receiving the officer's instruction, Abel nodded and secretly released a nano-robot. At this time, Li Fan revealed the news of Love. Fox's clone. Hong Mei didn't believe what Li Fan said at all. Are you kidding? With our 8-ring map here, how could a Fox's clone come out? Little brother, this matter you're talking about is really too shocking. Even if I believe it, I can't guarantee the authenticity of your news to others. The beauty Huang Shan seemed to believe a little. How about this, you come to my side and feel the breath of this 9-tailed fox. Is it the same as the woman you met? Oh, okay. Li Fan immediately nodded and was about to step forward, but Muronging pulled him back. Are you crazy? This is the demon ceiling hill, there are dangers everywhere. Yes, I will be careful. Li Fan nodded, but whether Love is the fox's clone or not, I still have to check it myself. You are not allowed to go. Why are you so timid? We're in a dangerous business. Li Fan was extremely confident. How can there be no danger in saving the world? If you are afraid, just stand here, I will go see for myself. As Li Fan spoke, he used his qigong and quickly rushed towards the beauty Huang Shan. At this time, Jin Yen, who was originally closed in meditation, suddenly opened his eyes. Brother, come here quickly and feel it. The beauty Huang Shan's smile was as gentle as spring, it could melt a person's bones. He's here. Li Fan lightly landed next to the beauty Huang Shan and stepped on the hilt of the sword. But at this time, a strong suction force pulled Li Fan's body. Brother, you are really a good person. The beauty Huang Shan smiled even more happily. This demon sealing hill not only seals the fox, but also seals us. 8 holy level masters, not one can be missing. Since you entered the array for me, then I will go out. If there is a chance in the future, I will repay you, he he he. Chapter 1407. What an idiot. Hong Mei couldn't help but sigh. Huang Shan has waited for thousands of years, and finally such an idiot came. So what if he's a saint? In this demon sealing hill, he's just like a pig and a dog easily slaughtered. When the others saw this, they were all gloating. This damn Chinese, he finally received God's punishment. Bastard! Muronging unsheathed her autumn water sword, preparing to grab Huang Shan who was about to escape. But at this time, a hand gently hugged her waist from behind. Muronging trembled slightly, then calmed down. You are so mischievous, I was afraid that the 8 of them would be bored, so I played with them. Li Fan whispered into Muronging's ear. This intense male scent caused Muronging to blush. Let me go, she struggled lightly, but Li Fan knew that she was thin-skinned, so he didn't act too presumptuously and let her go. Muronging heaved a sigh of relief, but she was also slightly disappointed. What? Huang Shan saw Li Fan in the distance, and her face paled. She looked at Li Fan, who was on the sword, but the latter turned into a wisp of green smoke and disappeared in front of Huang Shan. Huang Shan collapsed, kneeling heavily on the sword hilt. Her body trembled uncontrollably, her face twisted, laughing wildly one moment, then crying the next. The other dragon warriors around her just looked at her. None of them spoke up to stop her. In the past thousands of years, which one of them hadn't experienced such a moment? He allowed Huang Shan to go crazy for a full 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, she seemed to have calmed down. Huang Shan suppressed the demon. Yes. Huang Shan stretched out her hand, once again condensing a golden halo, suppressing the demon's sealing hill. This demon's sealing hill is indeed an interesting place. Li Fan couldn't help but comment. Yeah, it is indeed interesting. Little handsome, won't you consider staying here with me? At this moment, a beautiful woman in white suddenly appeared on the small hill. She stood barefoot in the air, tilting her head to look at Li Fan and asked. Her eyes were full of lust and ripples. The appearance of this woman shocked the 8 dragon warriors, Zen Master Heaven Sound, and the others as if they were facing a great enemy. Nine-tailed divine fox. Is that really you? Jin Yen looked at the woman below with disbelief in his eyes. Yeah, you've been guarding him for so many years, how come you can't even recognize him? Fox demon. How did you get out? Hong Mei rebuked. You fools, why are you still so stupid after so many years? Zhang Qing blew a kiss to Li Fan. Even that handsome guy can see that I'm just a clone. You can also say that I'm just a projection. Although that fox is a monster, one thing is certain. She is an infatuated woman. Hong Mei mocked and ridiculed, I'm not like you, fickle and shameless. Pooh. Oh. Zhang Qing tilted her head and looked at Hong Mei. Do you really think so? Of course, you must be a little monster that came from somewhere and pretended to be a fox. Are you trying to confuse us? Hee hee, you little girl, you really like to deceive yourself. Zhang Qing stretched her body. At that moment, she was extremely charming. Her languid posture and coquettish charm instantly killed all the men in the room. Even Zen Master Heaven Sound kept chanting Amitabha. You say I'm not infatuated? Not a divine fox. Okay, then I want to ask. Zhang Qing pointed at Hong Mei. Little girl, when you first came, you were a crybaby. At that time, you had to cry 3 times a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. Everyone tried their best to persuade you and make you happy. And now, are you still crying? Hong Mei's eyes widened. Oh, and you, the big sister in yellow. I remember that you were particularly shrewish at that time. Greenleaf would occasionally tease you verbally, but you would scold her until she was in a state of torment. And look at you today, TSK. I really can't recognize you. Huang Shan did not speak and only looked at Zhang Qing quietly. Oh, and Uncle Jin Yen. In the past, you were a chatterbox. Back then, when you were chatting, you went up to the heavens and down to the earth, chatting until everyone was annoyed, even I was annoyed. Now that things have come to this, I want to listen to you talk, but you don't like to talk anymore. You won't get anything out of it. Humph. Jin Yen snorted coldly and did not refute. And you, all of you, which one of you dares to say that when you first came, you were like this? After thousands of years, all of you have changed. Don't tell me that I, who was suppressed below, can't change. Everyone was rendered speechless by his words. All of you have changed, but I am the same as before. Isn't that too unfair? Zhang Qing's words made these people lower their heads, not even daring to look her in the eyes. Time not only destroyed me, it also destroyed you. Hee hee, in these thousands of years, haven't I also seen your ugly side? Saying that, Zhang Qing's gaze fell on Li Fan again. Pointing at Huang Shan, she said, "Little handsome brother, if you are willing to help this woman guard the demon's ceiling hill, I'm afraid she will be willing to give you the most intense service. She is eloquent and capable, I guarantee you will be satisfied." At this moment, many envious gazes were cast on them. After all, Huang Shan was indeed a peerless beauty, while Li Fan only had the strength of a saint. Other men did not even have the qualifications to be like moths flying into a flame. As if to prove this sentence, Huang Shan's enthusiastic gaze was cast over, looking very expectant. "Without freedom, I would rather die." Li Fan only lightly said this sentence. "Fuck, who are you looking down on? This daddy has a girl." This Murong Ying, as well as his imperial concubine Zhou, Lu Wan, and Murong Ai, which one of them is not a beauty of the highest quality? Especially Murong, this pair of beautiful sisters, who will serve him together in the future. This kind of happiness with multiple people, he did not enjoy it himself, but ran to the prison cannon for a one-time use. He must be dreaming. "Little handsome brother, actually you are not losing out." Zhang Qing also did not know what to do, continuing to bewitch Li Fan. "You are the same as others, people who have comprehended the avatar body. Even if your main body stays here to guard, your avatar can still go out. Zhang Qing, you keep bewitching me, what do you want?" Li Fan waved his hand, cutting off Huang Shan's thoughts. "In any case, you are a generation's divine fox, can't you have some integrity?" "What is integrity?" "Didn't you say it yourself, without freedom, I would rather die?" "You desire freedom, how can I not?" "Hey, don't you have an avatar?" Chapter 1408. Amorous eyes deepened as she stared at Li Fan. Her eyes seemed to have hooks on them as she tugged at Li Fan's head. Li Fan gathered his internal energy and Yuan Qi gathered in his eyes as he stared at Amorous without avoiding her gaze. "Handsome boy, you're very smart. But those who are too smart often end up in a miserable state. Look at me and you'll know. Looks like you think you're smart." Li Fan hugged his sword and looked at Amorous below. "Perhaps. No matter how smart I am, I can't predict the evil of human hearts." Amorous shrugged. "You guessed right. Freedom is nothing to me. I can create 9 clones to escape the surveillance of these idiots and go out to play. But, like them, I also have responsibilities." Amorous pointed at the dragon warriors and said, "Fate is so cruel. We bear such a fate, who can understand our bitterness? Must we kill them?" Li Fan frowned and asked. "Yes, we must kill them." Amorous nodded, and regardless of age, gender, they must all be killed. Not a single one can be left alive. Since that's the case, we're enemies. Li Fan said without hesitation, "Amorous, don't be merciful." "Don't worry, I've never been merciful." Amorous smiled. At that moment, it was as if thousands of flowers bloomed, causing all the men to stare at her. Even Zen Master Heaven Sound's eyes were slightly dull. What an amorous vixen. How many people could have such a myriad of amorous feelings? Ha! Li Fan's war dragon roar pulled everyone back from their daze. "I didn't expect you to have dragon chi in your body." Amorous looked at Li Fan. "You're the second special man I've met. Looks like I don't need to ask who the first person was. That's why I say it's not good for a person to be too smart." Zhang Qing lightly snorted. "It's about time. Everyone present, you will be my sacrifice." "Sure, come on." Li Fan accepted the challenge. "You she-devil, don't even think about leaving this place." Hong Mei rebuked. "Why not?" Zhang Qing looked at Hong Mei indifferently. "Only when I get out of here can you all be free." "Bah!" Hong Mei scolded, "We are also sealed here. If you escape, we will also be killed by the backlash from the formation. Since that's the case, then go to hell." As Immerse spoke, she opened her arms and the surrounding power began to quickly gather towards her. The entire demon ceiling hill began to tremble, and even the entire island began to tremble. It was like an earthquake with a magnitude of 7 or 8, and the people around were all scared. This is too exaggerated. This woman, just what kind of strength does she have? Woo! A fox's howl came out of the Immerse mouth. Silence. Jin Yen stretched out his hands and led his companions to activate the demon suppression bracelet. 8 demon suppression bracelet pressed down, forcing Zhang Qing to squat on the ground. But Zhang Qing's mouth still hung a sneer, and her eyes were slowly filled with ridicule, as if she did not care about these people's oppression. "Witch, don't be so arrogant." Jin Yan glared at her, like a Vajra Arhat, mighty and extraordinary, with the 8 of us here, don't even think about coming out today. Not just today, but forever and ever, you will stay here. His voice carried endless anger. So many years of anger, at this moment, almost all of it erupted. If this woman did not cause trouble, if she did not destroy the world, they would have been a group of free people. All of this evil, was because of this woman, this vixen. Zhang Qing, thousands of years ago, you were sealed here. Thousands of years later, you will still be sealed here. Jin Yan seemed to be about to erupt with all of his anger. Looking at Zhang Qing, his eyes have turned blood red. Hee, how can you blame me for this? Zhang Qing carried the 8 golden demon suppression bracelet, a sneer hanging on the corner of her mouth. It was your ancestors who threw you here to seal me. If you want to blame someone, shouldn't you blame them? All of you are guilty. Jin Yan's body could not help but tremble. No matter who it is, they will pay the price. One day, when you are completely refined into flesh and blood by this demon sealing formation, we will be able to leave. So, you are not allowed to go anywhere. Stay here. Jin Yan pushed his strength to the limit, and the demon suppression bracelet also lit up with a dazzling golden light. Everyone, follow me. Suppress the demon fox. An indistinct golden dragon appeared behind Jin Yan. It was the true dragon Qi. They were different from Li Fan. Half of them had dragon blood in them, so it was not strange that they had dragon Qi. Behind Jin Yan was a 5-clawed golden dragon, glaring angrily with the might of a divine dragon. 8 dragon suppression. Hong Mei, Huang Shan, and the others also activated their powers, pushing their strength to the limit. Behind them, the true dragon Qi also appeared. Behind Hong Mei was a crimson fire dragon. Flames were still coming out of its mouth. It was abnormally angry. And behind Huang Shan was an elegant light blue water dragon, its body emitting white cold air, its eyes shining with a deep light. Behind the 8 people, 8 true dragons appeared behind them, divided into 4 clans, all of them doing their best to suppress the demon fox that was about to be born. Humph. Zhang Qing's knees bent a little, her expression seemed to be in pain. Do you see? You demon fox. Jin Yan laughed heartily, this is your fate. You are not a match for the 8 of us. Even without the 4 sages, you still can't do it. Is that so? I still haven't recovered my strength. Zhang Qing smiled. In the next second, 8 rays of light suddenly appeared around them, and within the light was a beautiful woman in white. They were as fast as lightning, quickly rushing to Zhang Qing's side, then one by one, they merged into her body. Don't even think about it. Jin Yan roared again and again. He and his 7 companions pushed their strength to 120%. The 8 demon suppression rings suddenly linked together and smashed onto Zhang Qing's body. Zhang Qing's body was smashed into the ground, disappearing in front of everyone. Demon fox. This is your end. Jean Yan's eyes flashed with the joy of revenge. But in the next second, his expression turned into horror. This was because cracks were slowly appearing on the golden demon suppression hoop, as if it was a piece of glass that could shatter at any moment. At the same time, a huge wave of demonic chi spread out, instantly filling the surroundings. At this moment, those weaker than half-sage were all stunned, their eyes became somewhat gloomy. Chapter 1409. The demonic chi spread out. At that moment, everyone who wasn't a half-saint was stunned. Their eyes were filled with a sense of evil. Not good. Zen Master Tian Yin's face was ashen. It's the demonic chi of the godly fox. It turned these people into puppets. Without waiting for Zen Master Heaven's Note to make a move, the elites from the various countries all jumped down the 100-meter-tall demon ceiling hill as if they were on drugs. Normally, 100 meters wouldn't be a problem for these elites. But at this moment, it became the gap between life and death. Bang, bang, bang. Like dumplings, they all fell to their deaths on the demon ceiling hill. Blood instantly dyed the hill red. It was like a blood-red flower had bloomed. It was beautiful and evil. Damn it. Hong Mei couldn't help but curse. Tian Yin, it's all because of you, you piece of trash. You sent these pieces of trash and let them use their blood to pave the way for the fox monster. Abel and Elizabeth were also dumbfounded. The two of them stood on the cliff, trembling. Under the suppression of the demonic chi, even standing seemed to be a little difficult. At this moment, they finally understood how scary this nine-tailed godly fox was. No, what nine-tailed godly fox? Looking at the bloody scene in front of them, they all thought that this was a fox monster. She would kill everyone. Everyone, this can't go on. Li Fan frowned as he watched those people still jumping into the valley one after another. Wife, calm them down. There were still 20 people left. Although Li Fan didn't care about their lives, their deaths could strengthen the nine-tailed godly fox. It would be better if such a terrifying and passionate vixen didn't become stronger. Okay. With that, Muronging suddenly turned into a beam of red light and swept past the remaining people. At the same time, her finger pressed on the acupuncture points of those people. Under Murong Ying's modification, this move now had the effect of a real acupuncture point. Those whose acupuncture points were poked by Murong Ying would have their blood vessels sealed by Murong Ying's powerful yin qi. They would not be able to break through for a while and could only stand there in a daze, unable to move. Almost in the blink of an eye, Murong Ying had sealed the acupoints of these 20 people and fixed their bodies. Well done. Li Fan gave a thumbs up and praised his wife. For Dianhe to be able to perform at such a level, even he couldn't do it. Murong Ying, on the other hand, had been immersed in martial arts for many years and had a very thorough understanding of the human body's acupuncture points, which was why she could achieve such an effect. In Jianghu, a master of internal martial arts was usually an acupoint master. If he didn't even understand the acupoints, he wouldn't be able to practice his internal strength. It was very simple. If he could not even open up his meridians with his inner force, how could he make his inner force form a major circulation path in his body? Different from these Westerners' methods of rapidly improving their strength, Eastern martial arts were gradual and profound. Although Li Fan's strength was already at the sage level, he believed that he was still lacking in the study of martial arts. Done. Murong Ying had already returned to Li Fan's side, as if she had never left. My wife is mighty and domineering. Cut it out. Look down. Murong Ying pointed. Li Fan looked down and his expression darkened. Although some people were saved, there were still dozens of people who jumped into the valley like the Suicide Squad and turned into flesh and blood. Not only did they stain the valley red, they also stained the huge demon suppression ring red. At this moment, more and more cracks appeared on the demon suppression ring. It seemed like it would shatter into pieces in the next second. Jin Yan and the rest's expressions became more and more ugly. Hong Mei couldn't help but curse. What about this year's 4 sages? Where did they go? Those trash, they must be afraid. Another dragon warrior roared. The previous generation's demon suppression ring caused the fall of all 4 sages. This year, I'm afraid the new 4 sages won't dare to come. 4 sages. Li Fan thought of the Azure Dragon successor he met in the past. They were so arrogant and brainless. If they were willing to sacrifice everything to help, then that would be crazy. She's coming out. Jin Yan's face turned red. Even if we use all our strength, we can't let her have it easy. Everyone, use the demon suppression ring. Really? Huang Shan raised her head, her expression somewhat dazed. At this point, we can only do this. Jin Yan nodded. As long as we use the demon suppression ring to suppress her, we can find a chance to seal her again. If she doesn't escape from the demon sealing hill, we can still survive. Good. Then don't hesitate. Hong Mei was the first to take out a small jade ring from behind her. This jade ring seemed to be divided into several pieces, and she kept one piece in her hand. The demon suppression ring is our last resort. All the dragon warriors nodded. They stood up one after another, took out their own jade rings, and aimed at the center. As if attracted by something, the 8 jade bracelets suddenly flew up and joined together in midair, restoring themselves to their original state. And from this jade ring, a golden beam of light shot up into the sky. The originally dark clouds in the sky were directly blown away by this golden beam of light. In the next second, an even thicker beam of light fell down. With the 8 giant demon suppression swords as the boundary, it formed a transparent golden barrier that surrounded them. Everyone, as long as we are alive, this demon suppression ring formation will not be broken. As Jin Yan spoke, his body began to burn. Crimson flames wrapped around his body. Soon, when the flames dissipated, his body began to change. Jin Yan's body became more than 2 meters tall. A pair of golden dragon horns grew from his head, and his hands and feet were covered in dragon scales. A crimson spear appeared in his hand. Jin Yan's identity was the most special. Among the dragon race, other than the dragon race of the 4 seas, there was also the strongest royal race, the 5-clawed golden dragons. Jin Yan's body did not have the bloodline of a human. He was a hybrid of a royal and a member of the flame race, so he was thrown into this sealed land and imprisoned all day long. Jin Yan's pride, his ambition, all of it had dwindled in these thousands of years of suffering. But at this moment, he was betting everything he had. He was going to use the demon suppression ring to kill the 9-tailed divine fox, turn her into flesh and blood, and completely disappear from his life. At that moment, the day of liberation would come. Roar! And as he changed, the surrounding dragon warriors also turned into half-dragons. Even the unruly lowly, Hong Mei, had a pair of red dragon horns on her head and a pair of crimson sabers in her hands. The 8 true dragon energies revolved around the demon sealing hill as if immortals had descended, but in reality, it was the second coming of hell. Bang! In the next second, the golden red demon suppression ring finally cracked open. Chapter 14:10. The demon suppression hoop finally shattered. 9 gigantic white tails suddenly tore open the ground. The tails swelled with the wind, and each of them grew to a length of 100 meters. They flapped their tails and completely tore open the demon suppression hoop above their heads. And under the tails stood a gigantic white fox. The white fox's body was astonishing. When it lay there, it was at least 70 to 80 meters long, and its blood-red eyes were filled with hatred. She stood on the blood-red demon sealing hill, wagging her tail as she silently looked at the 8 dragon warriors around her. At this moment, powerful demonic energy erupted uncontrollably. Even Adam and Elizabeth were shaken to the ground. Looking at Zen Master Heaven's note, the 3 of them had joined forces and unleashed the Golden Bell Shield, barely managing to block the demonic energy. Li Fan held his Spring Wave sword and held Murong Ying's hand. He stood on the cliff, his feet rooted to the ground, unmoving. Even if the ground beneath his feet crumbled, he didn't care. Some rocks flew to his side, but they were all shattered by his protective energy. Nine-tailed demon fox, I will make you regret it. It was a mistake for you to come out. Jin Yen held his spear and jumped high into the air. He descended from the sky and slashed down toward the 9-tailed demon fox's head. And at this moment, one of the tails behind the 9-tailed demon fox suddenly transformed into a gigantic sword. It swung and knocked Jin Yan's spear away. At the same time, the other tail was wrapped in white frost and swept toward Jin Yan's body. Bam! Jin Yan was sent flying. The 9th heaven mystic ice on the tail happened to be the bane of his element, causing him a certain amount of damage. At the same time, her 3rd tail brought with it blue lightning as it chased after Jin Yan. Eat this. Huang Shan was holding a blue ribbon in her hand. She swung her hand, and the ribbon flew out and wrapped around the lightning-covered tail, slowing the 9-tailed demon fox's movements. But she didn't know that the 9-tailed demon fox's 4th tail had already stabbed into the ground. Boom! The earth trembled, and the dragon warriors were all disrupted. Don't let her recover. Be careful of her 9 tails. Jin Yan raised his spear and charged toward the 9-tailed divine fox along with a few other dragon warriors. However, the earth tremored violently, and the other tails of the 9-tailed divine fox stood up and lashed out again. The dragon warriors panicked and fell into a disadvantageous position. Demonic fox. Don't be so arrogant. Jin Yan instructed the other dragon warriors, Green Leaf, head east. Xian Yi. North. Huang Shan. Due west. Red Plum Blossom, south. The few dragon warriors immediately leaped into the air. With a twist of their bodies, they actually transformed into 4 10-meter-long divine dragons in the air. They flew up and coiled around the 4 demons, suppressing swords in 4 directions. A powerful aura instantly converged upon the 9-tailed divine fox's body. The 9-tailed divine fox's body stiffened, and its 9 tails were also restricted. Its body felt as if it had become 100 times heavier. This is the 1,000 Caddies Sealing Demon. Jin Yan said loudly. It's the grand formation that we came up with over 1,000 years. With the help of the true dragon chi bestowed by the heavens, we will deal with a fox demon like you. Now that there's 100 times the gravity on you, let's see how you can still cause trouble. Hee hee. This grand formation is indeed powerful. The 9-tailed divine fox chuckled for a while before suddenly turning menacing. But it's no match for me. What an ugly struggle. Jin Yan scoffed. He picked up his spear and landed beside the 9-tailed divine fox. Then, he led the remaining 3 dragon warriors with their respective weapons and began to pummel the 9-tailed divine fox's body. If it wasn't for the 9-tailed divine fox's divine chi protecting her, Li Fan believed that she would have already been beaten to a pulp. However, even with the divine chi protecting her body, it was not limitless. Soon, the 9-tailed divine fox was forced to retreat. The golden light around her body also became dimmer and dimmer, as if it could be extinguished at any moment. Ha ha ha. Your time is up. Jin Yan laughed loudly. No one can save you now. You're seeking your own death by coming out of the seal. Is that so? Just when everyone thought that the 9-tailed divine fox was about to die, the latter raised her head calmly. Why don't you take a look and see if your grand formation is still there? What nonsense are you spouting? Before Jean Yen could finish speaking, the nine-tailed divine fox's tail that had turned into a sharp blade suddenly flew out from the side. It slammed into Jean Yan's sturdy body and sent him flying into the air. Everyone was shocked. This 15-kilogram devil seal had actually failed. They turned around and saw a terrifying scene. The fire dragon that Hong Mei had transformed into had already left its original position. Moreover, it had bitten Huang Shan's neck and forcefully torn her body apart. Hong Mei! What are you doing? Jean Yan was horrified when he saw this scene. Without Huang Shan, his demon sealing technique would be useless. The demon sealing technique could only be used by the dragon tribe of the four major tribes at the same time. Huang Shan was the only member of the water tribe here. The other two divine dragons immediately pounced towards Hong Mei, and Hong Mei immediately began to wrestle with them. The huge body of the dragon was not suitable for them to fight. However, at this moment, they unleashed their wildest instincts. It was as if they were using this opportunity to vent their thousands of years of oppression. Kill, kill, kill. As if infected by the rage of their companions, the remaining dragon warriors' eyes turned red and they began to wrestle with each other, killing each other. Stop, all of you stop. Jean Yan tried to dissuade them for a long time, but no one listened to him. In the end, he fell to his knees in despair. Jean Yan. The huge white divine fox's body suddenly curled up. In the blink of an eye, she had transformed into the beautiful woman in white from before. However, this woman was wearing a white fox fur coat, which made her even more seductive. She crossed her beautiful long legs and stood in front of Jean Yan just like that. Look, I think I'm the one who won in the end, hee, bastard. You cheated. Why would I need to cheat when I want to kill someone? Zhang Qing suddenly transformed into the jade-faced Rakshasa. He reached out and lifted Jean Yan's huge body. It was time that distorted me, and it distorted all of you. I only used a little trick, and that little girl was bewitched by me. Master, honorable master. Hong Mei suddenly transformed into a human and crawled over. She crawled beside Zhang Qing and kissed the back of her feet. My master, Hong Mei obeyed your orders. Please be merciful and save Hong Mei. Let Hong Mei escape from this damned hell. Scram! Zhang Qing kicked Hong Mei away, but the anger on her face instantly disappeared. She said coquettishly, of course I won't forget your help. In this place, we are all cellmates. Chapter 14:11. Yes. Master, you are the real savior. Come and save this poor Hong Mei. Hong Mei crawls over and hugs Amorous' leg again. Great master, you will definitely bring me out of here. Hong Mei is willing to serve you for the rest of my life, even as your dog. How can there be such a cute dog? Amorous stretches out his hand and hooks Hong Mei's small chin. I want you to stay by my side, that is enough. However, I have a small problem now. Can you help me? Great master, if you need anything, just tell me. Hong Mei is willing to be your weapon. Hong Mei points at the dragon warriors who are fighting. Are you going to kill them? Hong Mei will go now. Trash. Idiot. Amorous kicks Hong Mei to the side again. I want to know how to take back this damned Xian Kun demon ring. Ha ha ha. Jean Yan, who was originally curled up at the side, suddenly laughs when he hears this. Demon Fox, I thought you were very powerful. But you still lost to me. Once this Qian Kun demon ring is released, within 49 days, it will turn all the gods in the array into ashes. What are you laughing at? I will not die, the one who will die will be you. Amorous says mockingly, one of my tails is the undying soul. Although I hate that woman, she indeed spoils me and helped me train this undying method. Although the Qian Kun demon ring is powerful, it can at most seal me for a few hundred years. After a few hundred years, my body will reform again and I will leave this place. As for you guys, you will only become bones here. Hong Mei is so scared that her face turns pale. She quickly crawls forward and hugs Amris' leg, begging. Master, great master, you must save Hong Mei. Hong Mei does not want to die. Io, what are you afraid of? I naturally do not want you to die. Amris squats down and affectionately caresses Hong Mei's pale face. So, you must tell me, where is the eye of this Qian Kun demon ring? Don't tell her. Jin Yan is shocked and quickly shouts, even if we die, we must make this woman accompany us in death. Shut up. Hong Mei suddenly appeared beside Jin Yan and directly slapped him on the face. Blood and teeth flew out of Jin Yan's mouth. You idiot, how dare you anger master? If you want to die, go ahead. Hong Mei doesn't want to die, Hong Mei wants to live. You're the idiot. Jin Yan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. If she goes out, all of us will be killed. She won't leave a single person alive. Hong Mei is not a human. Hong Mei is a dragon. It is master's pet. Hong Mei said without hesitation, but you must die. Master hates you. Hong Mei hates you too. Crazy, he's really crazy. Jin Yan's eyes were filled with hatred. Nine-tailed demon fox, even if I die and turn into a vengeful spirit, I won't let you have an easy time. When have I ever taken you seriously? Following Hong Mei's instructions, the nine-tailed divine fox had already made his way over to one of the demon's sealing swords. He looked at the towering sword and gently placed his palm on its surface. Soon, you will die. You damned demon fox. Stop it. Jin Yan's eyes were bloodshot, but the nine-tailed divine fox's hand was already glowing with a golden light. It's too late, handsome mixed blood brother. As he spoke, the power within his body exploded forth and flowed through his palm into the huge sword. The Qian Kun demon ring's only eye was this huge sword. If he made a mistake and destroyed the other swords, then the formation would become even more powerful and the eye would disappear. Great glorious sun palm, army shattering. A unique golden sun inscription appeared on the sword. Bang! This gigantic demon-suppressing sword was directly broken into two. The broken pieces of the sword fell in all directions as the golden light dissipated. At this moment, the dragon warriors seemed to have awakened. All of them put aside their grudges and picked up their weapons at the same time as they charged toward the nine-tailed divine fox. Great glorious sun palm, extreme bliss. The nine-tailed divine fox smiled faintly as she pressed her palm down. Even Li Fan, who was far away on the cliff, felt a terrifying pressure bearing down on him. He couldn't help but look up at the sky. The clouds in the sky parted as a huge flaming palm crashed down onto the demon's ceiling hill. Li Fan's eyes narrowed into slits. This woman's power was a little dangerous. Divine rank. Was this the power of divine rank? It was as if she could destroy the entire world with just a wave of her hand. Boom! The earth trembled once again, and the small island swayed along with it. The villagers outside were all livid. When they saw the flaming palm, they knew that doomsday was coming. The nine-tailed divine fox was finally born. The flames of her wrath would descend upon this world. This small island was only the beginning. When the flames dissipated, a huge palm print was left on the ground. The small hill had completely disappeared. It had been razed to the ground. Only black smoke rose from the crater left by the flaming palm print, proving that a terrible disaster had occurred here. Jin Yan and the others were all covered in dust. Some were kneeling on the ground, some were lying in the crater, and some had even been charred black. It was clear that the nine-tailed divine fox's attack had unleashed a terrifying destructive power. Even these saint-ranked dragon warriors were no match for her. This was the disparity between divine rank and holy rank. Master, you are too great. Hong Mei was smiling happily despite the deaths of her companions. She was dressed in a red robe, and her eyes were filled with hope as she stood amidst the blood and flames. Ah, Master, take Hong Mei away. I've had enough of this place. Ah, I think I can see the scenery outside. There are so many people and it's so lively. Don't worry, I'll take you away now. The nine-tailed divine fox made her way over to Hong Mei and looked into her eyes. Then, she suddenly raised a palm and slapped it onto the top of her head. Great glorious sun palm, soul-shattering palm. A wisp of soul flew out from Hong Mei's body before being pulverized. Hong Mei's soul had been destroyed. Hong Mei, tears of blood flowed from Jin Yan's eyes. There was nothing he could do. He could only slam his fist into the ground. Of the 8 dragon warriors, some were dead, and some were injured. He was the only one who was still conscious and talking. But soon, he would also die. Because once the nine-tailed divine fox left the demon ceiling hill, they would suffer a backlash from the spell formation and die. Who can stop me if I want to leave? The nine-tailed divine fox had already stepped out of the demon ceiling hill as she spoke. Jin Yan looked on with despair in his eyes. She had finally stepped out of the demon ceiling hill. Jin Yan awaited his own death. Chapter 14:12. Jin Yan was waiting for his death. But even after a long time, he was still alive. What? Jin Yan looked at his hands and touched his cheeks. It hurt. His body was full of wounds. The pain reminded him of the fact that he was still alive. Why is this happening? You still don't understand. The nine-tailed divine fox stood there with a smile. I told you from the beginning that as long as I leave this place, you will be free. Too bad you didn't believe me. That's impossible. Jin Yan seemed to have lost the last of his vitality. He slumped to the ground, tears streaming down his cheeks and dripping onto the ground, mixing with the bloody mud. For so many years, the reason that had supported them in their struggle was actually a lie. What a joke, what a joke. They were too ridiculous. They had been fooled for so many years. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Jin Yan laughed uproariously. He even walked over to the nine-tailed divine fox and pointed a finger at her. He laughed so hard that his back was bent over with laughter. The nine-tailed divine fox did not do anything. She crossed her arms and looked at Jin Yan. After laughing for a long time, Jin Yan suddenly picked up his spear and threw it into the air. Then, he pulled down in the air, and the spear was instantly pulled back by his strength. It suddenly fell, and like a bolt of lightning, it instantly pierced through his chest, nailing him to the ground. Sigh. Why? The nine-tailed divine fox sighed. I wanted to let you live. Her expression twisted again, and she spat out a murderous breath. I'll let you see with your own eyes how I destroy this world. Ha 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 ha. Who else can stop this seat? Everyone will be destroyed. This world will be destroyed, and so will the sky above heaven. At this moment, she suddenly stopped laughing and looked at the people on the cliff. Abel and Elizabeth almost peed their pants. That woman looked at me. Oh no, I'm dead. Maybe I can taste human flesh today. What a heavy taste. Li Fan finally spoke. He looked down at the nine-tailed divine fox. Should I call you Amorous or nine-tailed demon fox? I'm just sentimental. The nine-tailed divine fox shot a flirtatious glance at Li Fan. How could you forget about me, handsome? I'll kill you first. The nine-tailed divine fox cursed before slapping her palm toward Li Fan from afar. Glorious sun palm, illusion destruction. Li Fan's body suddenly leaned to the side. With a rumbling sound, one of the stupa of Heavenly Dragon Temple behind him was immediately smashed. What a terrifying palm technique. Li Fan couldn't help but praise. I'm afraid this palm has surpassed the speed of light, right? Li Fan couldn't move at the speed of light, but his perception and martial arts experience saved him. In the instant that the nine-tailed divine fox's shoulder trembled, Li Fan had already reflexively dodged to the side, causing the nine-tailed divine fox's palm to miss. Little handsome boy is awesome. The nine-tailed divine fox clapped his hands in elation. If Master were to find out that my great glorious sun palm didn't hit its target, he'd definitely punish me. You're a bit shameless. Li Fan sighed. This has already surpassed the scope of martial arts. Although it's called a palm technique, it's a true godly technique. That's right, that's right. Zhang Qing stood there and nodded happily. Where I come from, cultivators are divided into several sections. Among them, there's a body cultivator, and body cultivators are divided into martial arts and sword cultivators. I happen to be proficient in both. After saying this, Zhang Qing suddenly scolded. I'll take your life. She raised her hand and pointed, and a blood-red lightning bolt immediately fell from the sky. Almost at the same time, Li Fan also threw his spring wave sword above his head and then to the side. Gotcha! The red lightning bolt was drawn to the side and directly smashed a demon-suppressing sword into powder. You even dodged the blood lightning bolt. Little handsome boy, you're really amazing. Didn't you say that you're a body cultivator? Body cultivators also know spells. Li Fan couldn't help but stare with his eyes wide open. I forgot to say that I also know a little bit of magic cultivation. After all, Master helped me refine 9 divine tales. Each tale has a great spell, a great divine ability. How about it, little handsome boy, do you still want to try other moves? After saying that, Zhang Qing stretched out her hand and a huge demon-suppressing sword suddenly trembled. It was actually pulled out from the ground and flew into the sky. Small. Zhang Qing's hand clenched into a small fist. That demon-suppressing sword began to tremble and then quickly compressed. Very quickly, it turned into an ordinary long sword and fell into Zhang Qing's slender white hand. Foolish human, watch this seat's wine sword technique. She swung her hand and the long sword suddenly flew into the sky and started to spin. At the border of the Qin dynasty, the bright moon of the Han dynasty, the 10,000 li long march has yet to return. As soon as he finished speaking, the long sword seemed to have come to life and instantly flew toward Li Fan. Dragon subduing sword. Dragon lock divine weapon. 130% power. Although this sword is fast, it has not reached the level of light speed. The moment Zhang Qing made her move, Li Fan also caught her eyes. He made his move almost at the same time, his long sword flicked. Clang! Zhang Qing's long sword was actually flicked away by Li Fan just like that. He slanted the long sword towards the sky and then coldly looked at Zhang Qing below. Using immortal technique to bully my martial arts, isn't that a bit unfair? Great! This 9-tailed divine fox looked at Li Fan with her beautiful eyes full of affection. You are really great, making me very happy. You are too powerful. I am even a bit wet. I can't stand. After saying that, she actually gently sat on the ground and breathed out hot air. You seem to be even more powerful than him. Back then, he was not able to reach your level. What's more, you are not even a cultivator. Enough. Li Fan can't stand Zhang Qing's split personality. Stop playing. if you want to fight then fight. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Hee hee. I just can't bear to kill you. This seat just likes to tease the mouse. Zhang Qing said again and again. I want your love. This seat wants your life. You perverted woman. Li Fan summoned all of his internal force. In front of him is an almost undefeatable opponent. He must bring out all of his strength and even display his extraordinary level to have a chance to defeat her. I feel sorry for you. Hee hee, you want to fight this seat with just your mediocre martial arts. Zhang Qing looked at Li Fan with both heartache and ridicule. Chapter 14:13. Perhaps I won't be able to defeat you alone. Li Fan stood on the cliff with his spring wave sword aimed at the nine-tailed divine fox. But I'm not alone. As he spoke, Muronging suddenly flipped over and stepped onto Li Fan's shoulder. She also drew her sword and the two of them unleashed their martial arts at the same time. One cultivated primordial qi while the other cultivated yin qi. At this moment, their inner energies complemented each other and fused together, forming a special effect. In the air, an aura appeared behind the two of them at the same time. A dragon and a phoenix appeared behind the two of them. The roar of the dragon and the cry of the phoenix surprised the nine-tailed divine fox. Amitabha, Buddhist monk Tian Yin chanted the name of Buddha. He did not expect the two of them to have the power of a dragon and a phoenix when they joined forces. Looks like my evaluation of them is a little low. It appeared that the two of them had cultivated some kind of combination attack technique that could unleash the full power of both of them and was infinitely close to the nine-tailed divine fox's power. First form, dancing dragon and phoenix. The two of them spoke in unison. Immediately afterward, the two of them leaped into the air at the same time and drifted down from the cliff. One of them was surrounded by a red light while the other was surrounded by a blue light, and they instantly arrived beside the nine-tailed divine fox. Whoosh! Li Fan's spring wave sword appeared on the right of the nine-tailed divine fox with a frosty aura and suddenly stabbed forward. This sword was aimed directly at the nine-tailed divine fox's throat. The nine-tailed divine fox reflexively began to retreat. She retreated 7 or 8 steps in an attempt to evade Li Fan's sword. However, Li Fan's sword chased after the nine-tailed divine fox's body like a dragon hunting its prey. The sword stabbed forward continuously, aiming for the nine-tailed divine fox's throat every time. It was truly impossible to guard against. If the nine-tailed divine fox did not possess supernatural powers, her neck would have already been pierced by Li Fan's sword. However, Li Fan was not the only one who was in danger. Cold sweat suddenly appeared on the nine-tailed divine fox's forehead as Muronging had appeared behind her. The Muronging sword was imbued with a red light, and the powerful heat emanating from it was scorching the air and warping the surrounding environment. The nine-tailed divine fox was struck by the feeling that he was seeing illusions. Muronging raised her sword and stabbed toward the vital acupoint on the nine-tailed divine fox's back. Glorious sun palm, mountain mist. The nine-tailed divine fox suddenly slammed his left palm onto the ground, causing the ground to tremble as a massive sun rune lit up. In the next second, a powerful shockwave spread out from the ground, lifting Li Fan and Muronging's bodies. How much worry can a gentleman have? A river of spring water flows eastward. The nine-tailed divine fox pulled back the demon-suppressing sword with his right hand before sweeping it through the air. Suddenly, hundreds of swords appeared in the air and fell down, slashing at the two. Spread my wings. Meanwhile, Muronging suddenly returned to Li Fan's side. She then leaped high into the air and swung her long sword. In the blink of an eye, Muronging had stabbed no less than 100 times. The rain of swords was completely blocked by her alone. At the same time, Li Fan raised his long sword and slashed toward the nine-tailed divine fox. Parade. He pointed the tip of his sword at the nine-tailed divine fox. At the same time, a trail of white frost was left in the wake of Li Fan's movement technique. This was a clear indication of just how powerful the frost energy on his sword was. In the blink of an eye, Li Fan had already arrived before the nine-tailed divine fox. His long sword was still pointed at the nine-tailed divine fox's throat. Glorious sun palm, mountain mist. The nine-tailed divine fox lashed out with her left palm, and a wall of wind seemed to have appeared before her, blocking Li Fan's long sword with brute force. Looking back and smiling, all the beauties in the 6 palaces are colorless. At the same time, the nine-tailed divine fox grabbed the demon-suppressing sword with her right hand. Her body suddenly turned into a shadow and instantly swept past Li Fan's body. Poochie. The nine-tailed divine fox appeared behind Li Fan, and there was a deep wound on Li Fan's lower abdomen. It was unknown when the nine-tailed divine fox had cut open his abdomen. Hee, your swordsmanship is so powerful. The nine-tailed divine fox praised. However, in front of me, you are still trash. As she spoke, she held the demon-suppressing sword and turned to look at Muronging. Then, she swept her sword horizontally. Don't ask the 9 heavens, one sword will break through the 9 continents. The space seemed to have been cut open, and a straight line was cut open. However, Li Fan's figure reappeared beside Muronging. The two of them held their long swords at the same time and crossed them. The power of ice and fire interweaved and stimulated each other. They actually blocked the nine-tailed divine fox's wind sword technique. Darling, you are actually fine. The nine-tailed divine fox looked at Li Fan seriously and found that the wound on his lower abdomen had already healed. It was as if he had never been injured. Your abnormal physique is more like our demon clan. I like you so much. Why don't you have a child with me? Our child will definitely be the strongest. You can be my servant. Why aren't you thanking me? Sorry, I am not interested in you. After saying that, Li Fan and Muronging looked at each other. The two of them held hands again and stood together. Second stance, vigorous dragon and phoenix dance. The power of the dragon and phoenix behind the two of them flew out again. The golden dragon and red phoenix intertwined in the air as if they were showing off their love. Divine sword. Li Fan and Muronging threw out their swords at the same time. The two swords fused with the power of the dragon and phoenix. In the next instant, the golden dragon and phoenix flew out. One was covered in frost, while the other was covered in flames. Both of them attacked the nine-tailed divine fox from the left and right. There is such a sword technique. The nine-tailed divine fox was very surprised. Impressive. Void dragon and fake phoenix. Don't even think of hurting me. She extended a palm and slapped it toward the dragon and phoenix. Great glorious sun palm, falling rain. A vast expanse of palm projections suddenly flew over and crashed into the dragon and phoenix. However, Li Fan and Muronging also activated their inner power. The two of them joined forces, and their inner power complemented each other, increasing the power of their attacks. When the two of them joined forces, they were as powerful as 5 martial sages. Even though it wasn't all that astonishing, it really was very effective against the nine-tailed divine fox. They activated their inner power and infused it into their swords, making the dragon and phoenix even more powerful as they clashed with the nine-tailed divine fox's 10,000 palms. The two of them were connected, and their combined power was able to break through the nine-tailed divine fox's attacks. This isn't fun anymore. You two have angered me. The nine-tailed divine fox suddenly reverted to his massive true form, and all 9 of his tails swept toward the dragon and phoenix. The nine-tailed divine fox's tails possessed 9 powerful divine abilities. Now that its power was unleashed, it immediately suppressed the dragon and phoenix. My dear, your techniques are indeed exquisite. You were even able to summon my true form. I want you two to die a horrible death. Chapter 14:14. Although Li Fan and Murong Ying's yin-yang dragon and phoenix sword has some special power, they are still blocked by the nine-tailed divine fox's true body. If this goes on, they will definitely not be able to injure the nine-tailed divine fox. Darling, you have to work harder. I'm still waiting for you to bring more surprises. You two ants struggle in vain. Your strength is not worth mentioning to this seat. The nine-tailed divine fox's 9 tails exerted force together, causing lightning and fire to burn. It was earth-shattering, causing the dragon and phoenix to retreat step by step. They were about to lose. Amitabha, Zen Master Tian Yin's face was gloomy. He and his 2 junior brothers sat down cross-legged, pressed their palms together, and began chanting Buddhist scriptures. At the same time, all the monks of Tian Yin Temple put down their work and sat on the praying mats, chanting Buddhist scriptures. In the sky above Tian Yin Temple, a golden Buddha vaguely appeared. This Buddha's light shone on the entire island. So sad, William curled up into a ball in Li Zhang's house. Righteous and demonic energy invaded him at the same time, making him feel extremely sad. He should not have come to this demon island, but no matter what, he was already here. He hoped that his strength would be able to help Boss. 2 young benefactors, I'll leave the lives of the world in your hands. Zen Master Tian Yin said slowly, all the monks in my temple offer their lives to the Buddha to bless the 2 of you with pure Buddhist power. As he spoke, the Buddha in the sky above Tian Yin Temple seemed to move. His gaze seemed to land on Li Fan and Murong Ying. In the blink of an eye, the 2 of them felt a majestic inner strength pouring into their bodies, enriching their strength, causing the dragon and phoenix they controlled to become even more ferocious. Zen Master Tian Yin, in this case, your life, Amitabha, only by seeing through life and death can one see the Buddha's heart. Zen Master Tian Yin did not have the slightest fear. He pressed his palms together and chanted along with the monks. The inner strength in their bodies surged into the sky as they chanted, condensing into the power of the Buddha. The Buddha then sent this power into Li Fan and Murong Ying's bodies. It was like a huge power bank that was charging the 2 of them from afar, replenishing the energy that they were rapidly losing. Since that's the case, I can't let you down. Li Fan's body also began to burn with a golden radiance. Together with Murong Ying's fiery red inner force, it was sent into the dragon and phoenix bodies that the 2 of them were activating. The power of the 2 swords increased, and the dragon and phoenix forms became clearer. The cries of dragons and phoenixes could be faintly heard in the sky, reverberating in the sky above the entire demon island. How pitiful! These baldies died just like that. Meddlesome bug. You're courting death. The 9-tailed divine fox raised his 9 tails in unison, and the power within all 9 tails flowed forth before condensing together in the air. 9-tailed godly thunder. With a cracking sound, a bolt of 9-colored lightning tore through the air, heading straight for Li Fan and the others. Be careful. Li Fan was shocked. The power of this lightning was most likely at the level of doomsday. He coiled his dragon into a ball and positioned it in front of the 2 of them. Murong Ying, on the other hand, waved her hand, and the phoenix flew away. It soared high into the sky and disappeared. Boom! The 5-colored lightning struck the body of the golden dragon. In the blink of an eye, the golden dragon was shattered, and its body was broken into pieces. Meanwhile, the spring wave sword had also been broken into several pieces, which fell to the ground. My dear, your sword is broken. Just admit defeat. I don't want to kill you. My heart will ache for you. The nine-tailed divine fox tried to persuade her. Ha ha ha, how are you going to fight me without a weapon? Before the nine-tailed divine fox could finish speaking, the flaming phoenix in the sky suddenly leaped down. Before the nine-tailed divine fox could even react, the flaming phoenix pierced into her head. The flaming phoenix's body transformed into a violent blaze that continued to burn. Meanwhile, the autumn water sword was embedded in the nine-tailed divine fox's forehead. Compared to the nine-tailed divine fox's gargantuan body, this small sword was nothing. However, the power of the sword was enough to make the nine-tailed divine fox suffer a severe blow. PFFF. Even the nine-tailed divine fox couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Her entire body collapsed to the ground, and her eyes seemed to be a little unfocused. Well done. Li Fan gave Muronging a thumbs up. Although she couldn't kill the nine-tailed divine fox, she had severely wounded her, which gave the two of them hope. Ow! I'm in so much pain. My love, how could you let your little lover kill me? Are you going to ruin my love just like that? Bastard! Damn it! I'm going to crush you to pieces. The nine-tailed divine fox's eyes were bloodshot as she suddenly stood up again. The sword above her head had been reduced to scrap metal. The golden Buddha in the sky also slowly dissipated, and the inner power that the heavenly dragon temple monks had obtained with their lives was also completely exhausted. However, the nine-tailed divine fox was extremely furious. Her entire body was enveloped in red flames, but it was as if she had been reborn from the ashes. My love, I can't bear to leave you. I'm an undying divine fox. The flames slowly receded, and the nine-tailed divine fox reverted back to her fox-furred beauty form. She stood in the air and looked at Li Fan and Muronging. I'm very surprised that the two of you were able to do so much. My love, if you're willing to leave her and throw yourself into my arms, I'll be sure to serve you well. Trust my seduction skills. I know a lot of kung fu, and I guarantee that you'll be satisfied. I'm going to peel off your tendons and make you taste the most excruciating pain in this world. I'm going to make you beg for death. Ha 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 ha. Li Fan and Muronging exchanged a glance. This woman really was a freak. However, her strength was really troublesome. Since it's a matter of life and death, I can't hold back. As Li Fan spoke, he suddenly wrapped an arm around Muronging's waist and kissed her red lips heavily. Muronging's body stiffened slightly, and then she slowly moved away. At this moment, she was feeling Li Fan's naked violation, but she was willing to completely fuse with Li Fan. They were like water and milk, never to be separated again. If this moment could last forever, how good would it be? The world didn't need to stop, and time didn't need to stop. She didn't think about Murong's family, and Li Fan didn't think about the Seven Knights Villa. The two of them held hands and traveled together, an immortal couple, carefree and happy. This kiss caused their hearts to be inextricably linked together at this moment. Hee, you're really a passionate person. Even at this moment, you're still thinking about those things. You're making me so envious. Come here quickly, I'll let you taste true happiness. You two shameless things, I'm going to kill you right now, you fugitive lovebirds. Chapter 14-15. The kiss between Li Fan and Muronging was like a pledge of love. Their bodies and minds were infinitely close to each other. The nine-tailed divine fox was either jealous or disgusted, but she was very angry. She had the body of a human, but 9 white tails flew out from her back, and each tail was filled with powerful magic power and divine abilities. Dear, you might not know this, but in the spirit realm, power is determined by the tail. Every time you become stronger, an extra tail will grow out. I'm the strongest 9-tailed divine fox. You're no match for me. My skills will shock the world and shock the world. You adulterous couple, you're about to suffer. However, to be able to die in my hands is also a blessing that the two of you cultivated in your previous lives. However, the two were still kissing as if they didn't care about what the nine-tailed divine fox said. If that's the case, I'll have to take you away. Go to hell. With that, the nine-tailed lightning gathered again. This colorful lightning was very beautiful, but it was also very dangerous. The twisted lightning tore through the sky and reached in front of Li Fan and Muronging. Dong! Two long swords suddenly flew in front of Li Fan and Muronging, blocking the terrifying nine-tailed godly lightning. The nine-tailed lightning was blocked to the side by the long swords and struck the Sky Dragon Temple. A loud noise sounded, and the Sky Dragon Temple was directly pierced by the lightning. It was like a giant holding a giant sword and slashing the Sky Dragon Temple from the middle. So scary, they hugged each other and trembled under the nine-tailed divine fox's power. They didn't even dare to breathe. The heroic spirit from before had completely disappeared. Now, all he wanted was to preserve his life. It would be great if he could leave this island alive. Third stage, Dragon and Phoenix Prosperity. Li Fan and Muronging had already entered the final stage of the Yin-Yang Dragon Phoenix Sword. To reach this stage, they had to be mentally connected. Although Li Fan and Muronging were husband and wife in name, they had always harbored different thoughts and had never put their hearts together. The two of them had lived together for so long, but they hadn't even chatted once. But at this moment, under the threat of the apocalypse, the two of them finally let go of everything and gave their hearts to each other. With this, the true essence of the Yin-Yang Dragon Phoenix Sword was revealed. The two of them kissed passionately, not even opening their eyes. Their inner strength condensed into two long swords, a dragon sword and a phoenix sword. They were like real objects, vivid and lifelike. Li Fan alone would not be able to do this. It was all thanks to Murong-Ying's ability to materialize the inner energy so clearly. Aya, it seems like you guys are a little stronger. Zhang Qing clasped his hands behind his back and stood in mid-air, looking at the kissing couple. It seems like you've only increased your cultivation base, but your power is still the same. The nine-tailed divine fox raised a palm as he spoke, slapping it toward them from afar. Great glorious sun palm, azure. Her palm strike had actually shattered the void. The space around Li Fan and Muronging shattered, and a black hole appeared, sucking in everything around it. Even their inner strength was being sucked away by the black hole. Although Li Fan and Murong-Ying's cultivation bases were high, they were only at the martial arts level. Meanwhile, the nine-tailed divine fox was proficient in immortal spells and demonic techniques, so they were not on the same level. The fact that the two of them were able to do this was already an astonishing feat. However, there was no astonishing feat at this moment, only a suicidal attack. Otherwise, the entire world would be destroyed, and humans would become history. Hey, run! Otherwise, you're going to be torn to shreds by the black hole. Hee, let's go and die together. The nine-tailed divine fox could already see their fates. However, right at this moment, a figure appeared out of thin air. He grabbed a pair of swords before flying toward the black hole and stabbing it repeatedly. A powerful force was injected into the black hole from the swords, and the black hole was forcibly shattered. The space fell silent again, and the figure hovered in midair. Ha! Another Li Fan. No. This is a clone technique. He managed to refine such a powerful clone technique. The nine-tailed divine fox furrowed his brows as he looked at the figure in midair. Looks like this is the combined power of this adulterous couple. Little fox, you guessed correctly. This is the external incarnation that the two of us refined together. Li Fan slowly descended from the sky toward the nine-tailed divine fox. Let's not stand on ceremony. Come, let's get to know each other. This external incarnation contained almost all of the strength in their bodies. At the same time, the two of them were extremely feeble. If someone were to attack them now, even a normal child would be able to kill them. I can't help but come again. Ah, so stupid. Even if you manage to refine a powerful clone, what's the use? The nine-tailed divine fox was excited at first, but then he sneered, I am a god-level expert, and I have great power. Do you think your little martial arts can save me from this seat's trouble? Don't look down on us martial artists. Li Fan stood in front of the nine-tailed divine fox with his two swords in his hands. We've been training so hard for this moment. What? Man can conquer nature. With that, Li Fan kept stabbing his swords at the nine-tailed divine fox. He kept stabbing his swords with both hands, and his speed was twice as fast as before. At this moment, even lightning might not be as fast as Li Fan. The nine-tailed divine fox was shocked. She hurriedly used the wind sword technique, and the demon-suppressing sword floated in front of her, forming a barrier to block Li Fan's attack. Dang, 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 dang. Li Fan's thrusts were extremely fast, and golden sparks kept bursting out, exploding on the demon's ceiling hill. The powerful barrier protected Zhang Qing. She crossed her arms as she looked at Li Fan, who was constantly stabbing his swords. Little sweetheart, look at how tired you are. Your head is covered in sweat, my heart is aching. You want to destroy this Lord's barrier? Stop dreaming. You're just a puny human, a mere martial artist. How can you be mentioned in the same breath as me, a godly expert? You are not even worthy of carrying my shoes. Even if you attack for a year, you won't be able to shake this barrier. Puff! Under the nine-tailed divine fox's astonished gaze, Li Fan's shoulders pierced through the barrier and appeared in front of her. Great glorious sun palm, mountain mist. The nine-tailed divine fox quickly sent out a palm strike, slapping Li Fan's sword to the side. Even so, she could still clearly feel that the Grim Reaper just passed by her. Chapter 14-16. The Grim Reaper seemed to have just greeted her. The nine-tailed divine fox broke out in a cold sweat as she flew back a certain distance. She was forced to reevaluate this differently. Fan. Darling, you really are very powerful. You're surprising me more and more. My heart is thumping furiously. Thank you for the compliment. Li Fan was not impressed. Let's continue our battle. Li Fan raised his dragon and phoenix swords as he spoke and began to attack the nine-tailed divine fox again. His attacks were extremely fast. Even in the eyes of the nine-tailed divine fox, all she could see was Li Fan's afterimages flashing through the air as he closed in on her again and again. However, the nine-tailed divine fox was an immortal rank cultivator. She was unable to defend herself, so she extended her 9 tails toward Enlin. The 9 huge white tails descended from the sky and landed in front of Li Fan. They stabbed into the ground and formed 9 huge walls that lined up in a row, blocking Li Fan's attack. Clang, clang, clang. Li Fan's dragon and phoenix swords struck the 9-tailed divine fox's tail, sending red sparks flying and inflicting a series of gashes on it. Darling, you won't be able to defeat me. My tail is protected by the indestructible golden body. Unless you have a divine weapon, you won't be able to hurt me. Brat, you think you can defeat me? You're dreaming. My 9 divine powers can be changed freely. Right now, my tail is the indestructible golden body, and it's even sturdier than diamond. How are you going to break through it? The 9-tailed divine fox was quite pleased with herself. Her 9 divine powers made her virtually invincible. Ha! However, Li Fan extended his hands, and the dragon and phoenix swords flew out of his hands. Under the control of Li Fan's inner power, they circled through the air before circling around the nine tails and instantly arriving behind the nine-tailed divine fox's head. Great glorious sun palm, mountain mist. The nine-tailed divine fox's expression turned pale with fright. She hurriedly raised her hands in an attempt to block the two swords. However, she only had time to block the phoenix swords before the dragon sword sliced through her shoulder. Fish! Blood erupted from the nine-tailed divine fox's shoulder, and at the same time, half of her body was covered in frost. Darling, I'll be very sorry to see you like this. Look, my heart has turned cold. You actually injured me. I'm going to pinch you to death. A complex expression appeared on the nine-tailed divine fox's face. She didn't think that Li Fan would have the ability to injure her. She was the invincible divine fox. Even those bastards from the realm beyond Avalon couldn't do anything to her. Meanwhile, Li Fan had already taken advantage of this opportunity to circle around to the nine-tailed divine fox. At the same time, he wielded his dragon and phoenix swords with both hands and unleashed a relentless barrage of attacks. The nine-tailed divine fox was able to hold his own in the beginning, but he was soon forced into a disadvantageous position. He was being suppressed by Li Fan's dual swords, and he was forced into retreat. Little handsome boy, let's not fight, okay? Let me serve you well, okay? My tongue is very flexible. Damn it. Get out of my way. How is it possible for this seat to lose to a small character like you? The nine-tailed divine fox is very unresigned. She had just come out from the seal, and most of her strength was used to break the seal. Although she was suppressing Li Fan in the beginning, as the fight continued, a group of stinky monks helped Li Fan to charge up his strength. Right now, the nine-tailed divine fox's strength was almost exhausted, but Li Fan is still filled with fighting intent like a god of war who doesn't know exhaustion. Especially this sword technique of his, it is strange and savage. His speed and strength have almost reached the peak of martial techniques. The nine-tailed divine fox even believes that if this guy had learned an immortal cultivation technique and not a martial heart sutra, the current him should be so powerful that he can instantly kill me. Damn it, what am I thinking of? How can a mere human possess such powerful strength? Could it be that he is a genius like Lu Yi? Wrong. I had heard from Master that Lu Yi's talent is not high. In the end, he was able to become a cosmos god through a series of fortuitous encounters as well as bitter training in the Azura realm. How can this human in front of me be mentioned in the same breath as great god Lu Yi? But how could I lose to him? This is not logical. It should not be. Break for this seat. She roars as she revolves the strength in her body to the limit. She keeps punching out with her palms, trying to force Li Fan away. But Li Fan even closes his eyes and only relies on his perception of the surrounding qi to move around, dodging the attacks of the nine-tailed divine fox. At the same time, he stabs out with his swords again and again, aiming for the vitals of the nine-tailed divine fox. The acupoints of the nine-tailed divine fox are all within the attacking range of the swords. Very quickly, the nine-tailed divine fox is unable to take it anymore as the qi in her body starts to run out. Li Fan becomes more and more courageous as he fights. Finally, one of his swords pierces through the nine-tailed divine fox's palm while the other stabs into her throat. The nine-tailed divine fox stands there and with a plop, she kneels onto the ground as she looks at Li Fan in a daze. However, Li Fan knows that the nine-tailed divine fox isn't dead yet. There is an indestructible soul in one of her tails, so he most likely won't be able to kill her unless he finds some divine weapons. But when did he get his hands on a divine weapon? Hee hee. You still can't kill me. I am indestructible. The nine-tailed divine fox stands up again as golden light gathers around her body. This is divine light, and it symbolizes her power. I am indeed a little weak now. Big brother, can you let me go? I can't keep up with you anymore. What can you do without a divine weapon? Once I recover my power, I'll make you wish you were dead. The nine-tailed divine fox continues to maintain her schizophrenic character. A divine weapon, a thought suddenly occurred to Li Fan, and he looks toward his hometown. If it's her, she should be able to help him. Furthermore, General Ran and the others can't say anything about this. Li Fan extends his right hand toward the sky. Dragon Lady, if you hear my call, please help me. The nine-tailed divine fox was originally feeling quite smug and focused on recovering her power. However, her expression suddenly changes in the next second. What? She looks up to find a golden sword piercing through the air before stabbing toward Li Fan's feet. Shangfang's sword. The sword exudes a dazzling light, and the nine-tailed divine fox is momentarily dazed. This is a sword passed down from the human era. It should be enough to deal with you. Li Fan reached out, pulled out the Shangfang sword, and held it in his hand. I'm so scared. Don't kill me, I'm willing to be your sex slave and serve you in bed every day, master. How could I die? Something must have gone wrong. It must have. You bastards from the human realm upon heaven, you must have planned all of this. Get the fuck down here. You bastards. She seemed to be shouting at the sky, but the surroundings were extremely quiet. Other than her voice, no one else responded to her. Looks like you've gone completely insane. Li Fan shakes his head as he looks at the nine-tailed divine fox. I should sympathize with you, but you should die first. Chapter 14-17. Li Fan didn't dare to let this fox live. She had too much vengeance on her. She was powerful to begin with and wanted to destroy the world. Now, she was like a ticking time bomb, and her situation was extremely unstable. At this point, the only way to save the world was to kill this fox. Hadn't he summoned the Shangfang sword just for this moment? Li Fan walked toward the nine-tailed divine fox. The nine-tailed divine fox lay on the ground in despair. She didn't even seem to notice when Li Fan walked toward her. In the instant that Li Fan raised the Shangfang sword, the nine-tailed divine fox suddenly leaped up and dug her claws into Li Fan's chest. Li Fan's body was pierced through, and the nine-tailed divine fox's hand came out from his back. However, there was no blood. Have you forgotten? A smile appeared on Li Fan's face. This is my avatar. No. The nine-tailed divine fox wailed. She had forgotten about this at such an important moment. In the face of death, even the sly nine-tailed divine fox lost her composure and began to make bad moves. Don't kill me. Wah, I don't want to die. I won't let you go even if I die. Li Fan heaved a forlorn sigh at the sight of the nine-tailed divine fox. I'm sorry. He grabbed the long sword and flicked it upward. The sword instantly pierced through the nine-tailed divine fox's chest, then lifted her high into the air. This seat. The nine-tailed divine fox seemed to have regained some of her senses at this moment. I'm such a failure. I couldn't even save all of you before I died. What did you say? It's too late, the nine-tailed divine fox heaved a heavy sigh. This divine weapon has already shattered my soul. Young man, even though you've killed me, you've brought an even greater disaster to this world. What do you mean? Li Fan had a bad feeling as he looked at the nine-tailed divine fox's body slowly crumbling in the air. He hurriedly asked, wanting to get to the bottom of this matter. Be careful. The realm beyond heaven, the nine-tailed divine fox's soul power was growing weaker and weaker. If you don't explain clearly, I won't let your soul dissipate. Li Fan suddenly had an idea. He stretched out his right hand and red blood flew out of his palm. The blood suddenly enveloped the nine-tailed divine fox before forming a massive ball of blood that hovered in front of Li Fan. The blood sphere began to condense and continue to compress. Soon, it became a bead with a hard shell. It was the size of a ping-pong ball and felt cold to the touch. The blood bead fell into Li Fan's palm, and he put it into his bosom. The nine-tailed divine fox was definitely hiding an even greater secret, and he had to find out more about it. However, he had borrowed a portion of William's strength, so William's strength would probably fall by a level. He would just have to let William slowly train back up. Li Fan thought of the Parker family's ancestors' ability. He used the power of his blood to fuse with the soul of his lover to create a new body. This time, Li Fan was just taking a risk. As for whether or not he would succeed, he would have to wait until the nine-tailed divine fox's soul was fully nourished and came out of the blood bead. Li Fan withdrew his avatar and felt the life force in the blood bead at the same time. He sent his inner power into the blood bead, and the blood bead immediately gave him a joyful feeling, as if it was responding to him. Very good, it seemed that his plan had worked. The blood bead had successfully sealed the nine-tailed divine fox and saved her soul. As long as he continued to nourish her with his inner power, she would wake up again. However, this time, the nine-tailed divine fox would not be able to use any of her cultivation methods. She could only live in this world as his blood slave. The nine-tailed divine fox had killed so many people, so it was time for her to pay a price. She was already very lucky that she was still alive. Immerse, from today onwards you'll stay by my side obediently. You'll have to tell me about the realm beyond heaven. Li Fan patted the dust off his body and looked at the hellish demon Ceiling Hill. He could not help but sigh. When they arrived, there were 100 elites from various countries, 3 grandmasters from the Heavenly Dragon Temple, and 8 dragon warriors. But at this moment, only Greenleaf was still alive among the dragon warriors. He had lost a leg and would probably become a cripple in the future. The monks of the Heavenly Dragon Temple had all passed away. Their inner power acted as a quick boost for him. As for the elites of the Gods of Dusk, only a few remained. Some of them were so scared that they wet their pants. The air was filled with a foul smell. In any case, this matter has come to an end. Li Fan turned around and looked at the blushing Muronging. Why don't we stay on this island and give birth to 8 or 10 children? We'll never go out again. What do you think? Screw you. Who wants to give birth to so many children for you? I'm not a pig. Muronging blushed and glared at Li Fan. I can stay here with you for 2 days. But after 2 days, I'll return to the Murong villa. Alright, 2 days it is. I'll make full use of this time. Li Fan chuckled as he thought about his plan. Let's go back to the village. Hand in hand, Li Fan and Muronging left the demon Ceiling Hill. When they returned to the village, the atmosphere was very strange. Everyone looked at their faces and saw no gratitude. Instead, they were angry. Take your people away. Li Zheng pushed William to Li Fan. Get out of our village and never come back. My boss saved all of you. How can you have this kind of attitude? You're simply a group of ingrates. William expressed his confusion. He wanted to scold them but was stopped by Li Fan. Forget it. Let's go. Li Fan grabbed William and looked at Muronging. They saw a trace of helplessness in each other's eyes. Under their hateful gazes, they left the village and came to a bamboo forest outside. Boss, they're too shameless. William sat on a rock and seemed to be a bit depressed. Why don't we wait until nightfall and let me secretly suck their blood? Nonsense. Li Fan condensed the dragon sword and chopped the bamboo while glaring at William. These people are Chinese. How can I let you hurt them? Boss, you have a heart of Buddha. But they're too evil. No, I understand them. Li Fan ordered William to help chop the bamboo. They originally hoped that we would seal the nine-tailed divine fox so that the village could continue to enjoy the effects of longevity. However, I killed the nine-tailed divine fox and made all of these people die prematurely. That means that I've robbed them of their most precious treasures. How could they not hate me? If boss didn't do anything, they would all be dead. They're still thinking about longevity. They're too greedy. This is human nature. Li Fan seemed to be very open-minded. After surviving, they want more. All right. Speaking of which, boss, why are you chopping bamboo? To build a cannon house. Chapter 14:18. Li Fan used bamboo to build a small house. Although it was a little crude, it was at least livable. Li Fan had just finished building the house after a lot of hard work. He was ready to enjoy the rare time with Muronging. However, as soon as he finished building the house, Muronging received a call from the outside world. Because the nine-tailed divine fox was eliminated, the barrier around the island was also dispersed, and the phone signal could be transmitted. What? Murong-Ying's expression changed as soon as she picked up the call. Li Fan, I have to go back. Huh? Li Fan was shocked. Didn't you want to spend 2 days alone? Something happened to Murong Villa. Murong-Ying's expression was abnormally ugly. I have to go back to the villa. Everything was fine. How could something happen? Li Fan subconsciously felt that something was wrong, but he endured it. His expression did not change. I don't know what happened. It was Tai Zhu who informed me. Murong-Ying looked a little anxious. I have to go back quickly. Her personality was like this. She would do whatever she said. After she put down the phone, she turned and walked out of the island. Hey, I'll go out with you. Li Fan could not care about the bamboo hut that he had just built. Damn it, why did this happen so suddenly? It seemed that every time he wanted to be with Murong-Ying, someone would suddenly appear and interfere. However, this matter seemed to have something to do with him. You can't help me. This is Murong Villa's matter. Murong-Ying reminded Li Fan. It's our business. It's better for the other party not to interfere. Although these words were very heartless, it was the truth. The two of them had their own careers and did not want the other party to interfere too much. In terms of independence, Li Fan was very similar to Murong-Ying. I won't interfere, but if you want to leave the island, you'll have to take a boat or a plane, right? Are you going to float all the way back? That's true. Do you have any ideas? Of course there is. Li Fan pointed outside. I asked Bai Lin Luo to make arrangements outside the island. He will send us back. As for the Dusk of the Gods, I don't think we'll be able to take it. All right. Since Li Fan helped to arrange it, Murong-Ying also agreed. The two of them walked out of the island and arrived at the agreed location. On the way here, Li Fan had informed them with a satellite phone, so a helicopter was quietly waiting here. Because Li Family Island didn't belong to the national establishment, it was a small island that belonged to China, so it couldn't have an armed establishment like combat helicopters. The helicopter parked on the island belonged to a transport plane. Bai Lin Luo personally sat in the co-pilot position. When he saw Li Fan, he jumped out of the helicopter excitedly and came up to give Li Fan a warm hug. Li Fan, we finally meet. Fuck, we haven't seen each other for a long time. The two of them sighed, but Murong-Ying next to them frowned slightly. You two, go back and do it. I'm in a hurry. Yes, Murong Ying's matter is more important. By Lin Luo, let's go back to China. Okay. Let's go back. The helicopter flew all the way in the direction of the motherland. Bai Lin Luo seemed to be a little excited and a little nervous. As the saying goes, when one is close to one's home, one's feelings are afraid. Although he was separated from his motherland by a sea, because of the policy, Bai Lin Luo had never had a chance to return to his own country. Now that I'm back, you can help me with the moving. Li Fan always had work for Bai Lin Luo. I'll leave the aftermath to you. You're better at this. After all, Bai Lin Luo had helped Li Fan manage the island for so long. Moreover, it was quite impressive. This made Li Fan very happy. Well, just leave it to me. Bai Lin Luo smiled happily. With $500 million, we can be considered a small nouveau riche now. Don't be corrupt. This money has to be used where it's most important. Properly decorate our Li family island. I always feel that forcing you to retreat to the Li family island this time is actually the country's loss. Bai Lin Luo looked at Li Fan and said very seriously, moreover, I have a hunch that the nine-tailed divine fox is just the beginning. This demon island seems to have more secrets. It's as if you've become a prophet now. Li Fan couldn't help but laugh at Bai Lin Luo. You don't say, it's a bit true. Bai Lin Luo was very serious. Previously, I've been in contact with the prophet for a long time. His soul seems to have influenced me. Just like Mr. Yang before, he influenced you. Sometimes, when I sleep, I can always see some strange illusions. What illusion? I forget it when I wake up. Bai Lin Luo deliberately didn't say it. He didn't know what would happen if he told Li Fan that in those illusions, Li Fan was a person who destroyed the world with his own hands. Fuck, then you said it in vain. It's not that. At least, I heard the name of a sky beyond heaven in the illusion. Sky beyond heaven. Who did you hear it from? Bai Lin Luo pointed at Li Fan. I heard you say it to the nine-tailed divine fox. Speak normally. Don't play tricks. Li Fan rolled his eyes. I once met you in the battle with the nine-tailed divine fox. I heard her mention sky beyond heaven. But the dream was fragmented. There were only some sporadic fragments. Therefore, there was no way to predict the future. But I believe that as my spiritual power increases, my foresight of the future will also become clearer. You're no longer a summoner. You've changed to a prophet. Prophets also need bodyguards. Bai Lin Luo took out a card. Li Fan looked at it. It was a new card. Who is this girl? Her level seems to be quite high. This is a super strong card that I created using my latest ability. Bai Lin Luo held the card and said proudly, she is a Russian beauty I met on the island. Her name is Natasha. I got a good person card from her. Then, I combined all my other cards and created this C-grade trump card. You even courted a Russian girl. Amazing, the way people play these days is wild. That's nothing. I've already slept with her. Why did you get a good person card after sleeping with her? The model doesn't match. The two looked at each other silently. Bai Lin Luo suddenly became excited. Damn, I'm a normal size. The Russian girl's capacity is too big. Yes, I believe you. But you have to work hard and win glory for the country next time. How can I win glory? I'm a summoner and a prophet. I'm not an orc. I don't know enlargement spell. You have so many mutants. Maybe one of them has the ability. Let him help you. I feel like our friendship has come to an end. The two of them teased each other on the helicopter. Suddenly, an alarm sounded in the helicopter. Something seemed to have locked onto them. Chapter 14:19. The alarm in the helicopter rang non-stop, causing Bai Lin Luo to frown. Anderson, what's the situation? Mr. Bai, it seems like the aircraft carrier below has locked onto us. Li Fan looked outside and saw that the aircraft carrier was right behind them. The fire control radar on it had locked onto the helicopter, and there were also 2 fighter jets flying around them as if they were escorting them. Mr. Li, please wait. From the helicopter's communicator, a somewhat old but very deep voice came. Since you're here, why are you in such a hurry to leave? Why don't you come to my ship and have a chat? I'm in a hurry to go home and have a child with my wife, can't I? Li Fan's expression slightly darkened. It was very obvious that this group of people from America had no intention of letting him go. Mr. Li, you have to consider it carefully. You've already been locked onto by our fire control radar. If you leave rashly, I'm afraid that your helicopter will be hit by us. Are you threatening me? Li Fan seemed to be laughing. A talent like Mr. Li, if you return to your country, we won't be at ease. Fortunately, your country has ostracized you. They don't appreciate your strength, but we do. Therefore, we have decided to award Mr. Li a green card of the highest level and let you become a part of our empire. In the empire, you can enjoy honor and power. These are all things that China can't give you, nor do they dare to give you. I'm not going. Why? We are the greatest city of freedom. Every year, who knows how many people from your country would break their heads to get a green card. Some even sneak over here just to live in the empire. Everyone has their own aspirations. Li Fan chuckled. Some people even dream of going to other countries to be third-class people, and no one can stop them. But for me, no matter where I go, I'm still a Chinese. This is the gene that flows in my blood. Another boring patriotism. The person who was talking to Li Fan was the officer who had been monitoring Adam, Eve, Abel, and Elizabeth. He belonged to the upper echelons of the United States and belonged to a military unit secretly established by the president. He served as a general here. This general had a lot of power. His decisions usually represented the will of the American empire. But for someone as ambitious as him, being the general of such a secret force was a torment. He wanted to be the president, the greatest president of the United States. Therefore, he needed Li Fan, and even more so, he needed something from Li Fan. Mr. Li, it's fine if you don't want to come to our country. As long as you no longer belong to Huaxia, we will not be enemies. He was just the master of a small island. He didn't have the right to affect the world, the general thought. However, we would like to make a deal with Mr. Li. What deal? We are willing to pay for Mr. Li's 9-tailed divine fox. The general finally laid out his conditions. The 9-tailed divine fox was extremely important to him. She was the source of power, the key to longevity. Oh! Li Fan sneered in his heart. These foreigners were indeed after the 9-tailed divine fox. We know that the 9-tailed divine fox is priceless. Therefore, we are willing to pay $1 billion for it. $1 billion. This amount of money was enough for a person to live extravagantly for the rest of his life. He could buy whatever he wanted, Mercedes-Benz or Ferrari. Boeing 747, heaven and earth. He could sleep with whoever he wanted, no matter if it was a celebrity or a woman. The American Empress made a price that most people couldn't refuse, but Li Fan didn't say anything. Bai Lin Luo laughed mockingly. You are quite generous. You want to buy the secret of longevity with $1 billion? Are you shameless? As Li Fan's military advisor, Bai Lin Luo was overjoyed when he received the $500 million, but now, he had to maintain the calmness and confidence of an island master. May I know your ideal price? The general was very calm. He asked slowly. You can tell me so I can consider it. How much is your annual GDP? Murong Ying's eyes narrowed when she heard this. Could it be that Li Fan wanted to sell the nine-tailed divine fox? 20 trillion. Mr. Li, you are asking for too much, the general felt bitter. Even he didn't have the right to use 20 trillion to buy the nine-tailed divine fox. Even the president couldn't do it, let alone him. The American empire might seem to be powerful now, but it was actually weak on the inside. Otherwise, they wouldn't be working so hard to stir up the world and disrupt the development of other countries. I want the total value of your GDP for 100 years. Li Fan laughed. Don't ask about the nine-tailed divine fox if you don't have the money. Mr. Li, I am doing business with you in good faith, but you seem to be playing tricks on me. The general was a little angry. You relied on our help to subdue the nine-tailed divine fox. But now, you are burning the bridge after crossing the river and breaking the deal. You are angering the greatest country. Deal my ass. Li Fan started to curse. I worked so hard to subdue the nine-tailed divine fox. What does that have to do with you? If it wasn't for me, your people wouldn't even be able to get past the monk. Not to mention, they are all so scared in front of the nine-tailed divine fox. What did they do to help? Help me call for help. By the way, did you wash your pants? Mr. Li, don't go too far. You are still under the radar of the missiles. The general began to threaten him. I'm afraid you have no choice but to agree. Is that so? Li Fan glanced at Bai Lin Luo. Little Four Eyes, why don't you show us something? Okay, I will protect the helicopter. Bai Lin Luo nodded and took out his Z-ranked trump card. He moved his finger, and the card slowly disappeared in the air. At the same time, a beautiful silver-haired woman slowly walked out of the air above the helicopter. The clouds in the sky dispersed, and a golden light fell on the woman. She had a pair of white wings on her back. Her beauty combined with her holiness made people look up to her. She held a scepter in one hand and a shield in the other. She looked like a legendary angel of power, symbolizing power and authority. Is that an angel? Everyone on the aircraft carrier was shocked to see the woman in the sky. Bullshit, she is not an angel. The general had been in charge of the Golden Empire for so many years. He was the one who was responsible for destroying the Golden Empire. There is a mutant on the helicopter. It is a mutant special ability. The general sensed something was wrong. He immediately ordered, shoot that damn helicopter down. Now! The missiles on the aircraft carrier were all aimed at the helicopter. Then, one by one, the missiles shot into the sky and chased after the helicopter. The angel raised her scepter and began to activate her ability. Chapter 1420. Angel Quan wields her scepter and unleashes her ability. The missiles that flew over seemed to be controlled by someone as they all flew up into the sky and shot into space in the blink of an eye. I say, your missiles are not powerful enough. Li Fan sneered, come, hit us. Come, hit us. Li Fan's attitude causes the general to collapse. Does this fellow really think that the Empire is afraid of them? They only have the help of a mutant and they dare to be so arrogant. You trash, can't you solve this problem? The general is roaring. General, that angel is very powerful. All of our missiles lost control and were sent into space to explode. A subordinate reports while trembling. He is a devout believer of God. Seeing this angel appear, he is already regretting his actions. But military orders are irrefutable. With the general's order, they have no choice but to comply. These missiles seem to be free as they fly up into the sky, forming a terrifying barrage. Furthermore, the airplanes in the sky are also firing, wanting to shoot down the helicopter. However, with the angel around, all the attacks were ineffective. They couldn't even touch the helicopter at all. We must not let them leave. The general looks at the helicopter on the radar. We must shoot them down. Yes. These soldiers can only follow the general's order. Missiles are flying everywhere, but the helicopter is swaggering through the barrage of missiles and safely heading towards the direction of the Empire. If this goes on, everything will be over. Li Fan, if you have the ability, then keep running. The general feels that his dignity is being challenged. He roars, "You can run, but Li Family Island cannot." At that time, the Empire will send their army to crush your island. Do you think you can start a war as you wish between countries? Li Fan curls his lips. Don't try to coax me with these words. Hee, it is easy to find a reason. At that time, we will just say that your Li Family Island is harboring terrorists and we will send our army to suppress them. A few days ago, we even dropped a missile in another country's territory. Didn't we leave the matter unsettled? At that time, we will drop a few missiles on your Li Family Island. Let's see how long this angel of yours can resist. Even if the angels can withstand it, I'll seal off your island and make you lose your tourism industry. Let's see how you can survive then. The general was very confident. As long as there was a foundation, this Li Fan would have a weakness. If he wanted to threaten Li Fan, he would have to attack his weakness. Li Fan was silent for a while. Hee, are you admitting defeat now? The general sensed Li Fan's silence and smiled. As long as you complete this deal with us, we naturally won't touch your Li Family Island. On the contrary, we will support your island vigorously, making your economy stronger. I have to say, your words have struck a chord in my heart. As Li Fan spoke, he stood at the door of the helicopter and looked down at the aircraft carrier. If that's the case, then, before the general could finish, Li Fan interrupted him. Then let's fight. As Li Fan spoke, he directly leaped down from the air. His internal energy flowed through his body and converged into his hands and feet. As he opened his arms, this energy seemed to form an invisible membrane, allowing Li Fan to glide in the air like a bat. In an instant, Li Fan slid down from the sky, passed through the rain of missiles, and landed on the aircraft carrier below. Bang! Li Fan flipped in the air and stepped on the deck of the aircraft carrier, looking at the people around him. Oh my God, he actually jumped down. Quickly run. The people around him were scared to death. A human actually jumped down from such a high place and was fine. Li Fan, what are you trying to do? The general questioned Li Fan through the ship's loudspeaker. Could it be that you want to be the enemy of our empire? Li Fan stood on the deck, looking at the army in front of him, the corner of his mouth slightly raised. That's right, since you want to touch my Li Family Island, then I can only make the first move. You madman, with just you. Then I'll let you see what a madman can do. As Li Fan spoke, he extended his hand and began to quickly condense his internal energy. Very quickly, a light blue sword was held in his hand. Dragon sword. But without Murong Ying's help, the dragon sword's appearance was not particularly clear. But for Li Fan, being able to kill people was enough. Kill him. Let him know the terror of the empire. The general did not hesitate and directly gave the order. In an instant, the hundreds of soldiers around him all moved. Some of them carried machine guns, some even had Gatling guns, and all of them opened fire at Li Fan. Li Fan stood on the spot, constantly waving the dragon sword in his hand. Clang, clang, clang. Those bullets that were shot over were all deflected by Li Fan's sword. Amidst the clanking sound, golden sparks continuously sputtered in front of Li Fan. Such a terrifying scene caused the surrounding soldiers to panic. But after all, they were professional soldiers. Very quickly, they calmed down and continued to attack Li Fan. Such a terrifying rain of bullets could not even break Li Fan's sword. After seeing this, the general could not help but sigh. To be able to do this without any genetic enhancement, this person's combat power is indeed terrifying. Unfortunately, he cannot be used by me, so I can only destroy him. Let me do it. A soldier suddenly carried an RPG and fired at Li Fan. Bang! An artillery shell with a flaming tail instantly shot in front of Li Fan. Dragon Lock Divine Weapon. However, with a swing of his sword, Li Fan directly flicked the artillery shell away. With a loud bang, the artillery shell landed on the nearby command tower, blasting a large hole in the command tower. The general was standing inside, and he was badly shaken. Abel, Elizabeth. Seeing that the soldiers could not hurt Li Fan, the general was furious. He ordered 2 of his most capable subordinates. At the same time, a main battle tank slowly drove over and aimed its barrel at Li Fan. The power and speed of a tank's artillery was much stronger than an RPG. This was the latest M2 series main battle nuclear tank developed by the United States. The main cannon on it was a heat-grade weapon. Even if it was a building, it could directly blast through. Even the United States only had less than 100 of these tanks. This was because nuclear tanks consumed a lot of resources. Developing one required a lot of manpower and material resources. For this expedition, the aircraft carrier also carried an M2 main battle tank. Who would have thought that it would be used on this Wuxia person? Blast him into pieces. Then, collect the 9-tailed divine fox's DNA from the pieces. The general roared, and the M2 main battle tank immediately fired. Boom! A huge ball of fire soared into the sky, and even set off a small mushroom cloud on the deck, rushing into the sky. The heat wave rolled over, and the sky seemed to have turned red. The surrounding soldiers could feel the heat. Turn into ashes for me. The general's laughter echoed throughout the entire aircraft carrier. Chapter 1421. Relying on this main battle tank, the general is confident that he can blast Li Fan into pieces. When the fire slowly dissipates, a figure is standing in the middle of it. His body is wrapped in a layer of faint golden light. The general's eyes widen. He can't believe his own eyes. That Chinese man is actually standing there safe and sound. It seems like nothing happened at all. Even his clothes are undamaged. There is not a single speck of dust on them. Oh my God, is he a devil? Oh, no, how can we defeat such a person? The surrounding soldiers' courage finally begins to collapse. No one is willing to fight with such a person. They can go to war with the country and fight on the battlefield, but they can't fight with a devil. Li Fan slowly dissipates the golden light on his body. Holding his sword, he slowly says, "This tank is very powerful. It's better not to keep it. Even if it is Li Fan, after all, he is immortal. A heat cannon could also blast him into smithereens." Fortunately, Li Fan has the true dragon golden body, which can temporarily make him in a semi-invincible state. He can even resist a nuclear bomb, let alone this heat cannon. However, if it comes again, Li Fan won't be able to withstand it. In a short period of time, he won't be able to use the golden body again. Li Fan uses the dragon soaring through the 9 heavens Qigong and instantly leaps up. Rolling up the fire on the deck, he directly leaps onto the tank. Shwa! Li Fan swings his sword and cuts off the tank's barrel. This tank's armor can't even withstand Li Fan's sword. You guys are having fun, right? It's my turn now. Li Fan's body leaves afterimages. Like a ghost, he rushes into the crowd in a blink of an eye. In almost an instant, Li Fan's sword has already pierced through the throats of 7 to 8 soldiers. Li Fan doesn't show any mercy. Since this group of people is on the battlefield, they naturally have the awareness of death. He brings his afterimages and wander among the crowd. Every time he passes by, he will definitely be pierced through the throat by the surrounding soldiers. Li Fan's moves were extremely fast and precise. It was as if the Grim Reaper had descended, quickly harvesting the lives of these people. Very soon, the hundreds of Imperial soldiers on the deck were all killed by Li Fan, leaving not a single one alive. There was a river of blood here. Li Fan stood on the deck, but there was not a single trace of blood on his body. He looked at the command tower above his head with an evil aura. "You're the general, right? Isn't it time to meet him? Don't even think about touching the general. Let us fight you." Two figures suddenly jumped in front of Li Fan. One of them was clad in a white nano armor and wielded a lightning spear. The other one had a fiery red nano armor, and both of his hands were wrapped in huge combat gloves. Abel and Elizabeth stood on either side of Li Fan, glaring at him as if they were facing a formidable enemy. "Yo, the two of you, I just saved your lives. Are you in such a hurry to die?" Li Fan asked with a smile. "Li Fan. You, don't be too arrogant. Our American soldiers are the cream of the crop. Moreover, this is our home ground. With the two of us joining forces, we can definitely destroy you. Is that so?" Li Fan tilted his head and looked at the two of them, not expressing his opinion. Abel was actually not that arrogant, and Elizabeth was even a little afraid of Li Fan. The previous scene made the two of them unwilling to be enemies with Li Fan. However, military orders must be obeyed. The two of them could only come out and fight Li Fan. "Do you need me to use one hand?" As Li Fan spoke, he placed one hand behind his back. "You are humiliating us." Elizabeth felt a great sense of humiliation from the bottom of her heart. "Oh. Then I'll use two hands." Li Fan placed both of his hands behind his back and looked at the two of them. "Is this okay?" "Li Fan, you're going too far." Abel roared. However, Li Fan snorted. "You're the one who's going too far. Of all people to provoke, you have to provoke me. Fine, I'll destroy all of you. I'll teach you a lesson." As Li Fan spoke, his body jumped up like lightning and instantly appeared in front of Abel and Elizabeth. In a hurry, the two of them carried their weapons and prepared to deal with Li Fan. However, Li Fan's speed was too fast. His feet suddenly kicked out continuously, kicking each of their faces. Bang bang. The two of them flew out at the same time and heavily crashed into the control tower behind them, both of them embedding into the wall. "American General, is it? Go back and tell your master, if there's anything, come to me. I can settle personal grudges. But if you touch my Li family island, this is the result." As Li Fan spoke, he picked up his sword and suddenly slashed downwards. Dragon subduing sword, tornado clouds, 130% power. A huge sword chi swung out and actually forcefully split the aircraft carrier in half. The aircraft carrier was broken in the middle, and both sides sank into the sea. The general was going crazy. What kind of power was this? He actually cut the entire aircraft carrier in half with one sword strike. He had such combat power alone, who could deal with him? Remember what I said today, or else the next one to be cut down will be your empire's White House. After saying that, Li Fan stepped on his feet and used his qigong to jump more than 10 meters high. Then, Li Fan stepped on the air again and actually used the void step. Each time he jumped higher than the last, he quickly jumped to the position of the helicopter, entered the plane, and left. The general relied on the lifeboat to survive, but the aircraft carrier battle group he brought was completely wiped out. Most of them were killed by the demons on Demon Island, but the last part of the elites were killed by Li Fan. The United States was the country with the largest number of aircraft carriers in the world. There were a total of 11 aircraft carriers, each of which was built with a lot of money and was very precious. Today, one of them was destroyed, and the other party only used one person, Li Fan. Li Family Island, the general's eyes were filled with hatred, but he did not dare to provoke the Li Family Island again. Although he had an empire behind him, the more an empire was, the more things he had to bear. He had the confidence to destroy the Li Family Island. However, as Li Fan said, if he ran to the United States to cause trouble, even the general might not be able to handle him. Moreover, he seemed to have a deep relationship with the Parker family. If the Parker family helped him, then it would really be over. I can only start with the individual, the general thought. It seemed that the people of Huaxia liked to talk in their so-called Jianghu. That was good. He could use their Jianghu to solve the problem. Thinking of this, the general immediately took out his satellite phone and made a call. Will they do their part? When Li Fan returned to the plane, Muronging asked worriedly. Of course not. These people are very arrogant, and they are determined to get the nine-tailed divine fox. They will definitely cause trouble for me. Li Fan smiled. Sister-in-law, don't worry. Boss is just showing off his muscles. Bai Lin Luo added, this way, the people of the United States will not dare to make a move on the Li Family Island. What do you think they will do next? Li Fan asked his inept advisor. Chapter 1422. I'm afraid the next step is to find a Chinese person to deal with you. Bai Lin Luo was worthy of being called a useless advisor. He easily guessed the general's next move. This candidate must not be worse than you, and he must have some relationship with America. I thought about it, and it should only be Zhang Feng. Bai Lin Luo suggested a candidate, and Li Fan nodded, yes, it should be him. Humph, the person who wants to kill him is me. You are not allowed to compete with me. Muronging transferred all the hatred of her father to Zhang Feng, so her hatred for Zhang Feng was naturally deep. When Zhang Feng was mentioned, Murong-Ying's expression became very ugly. Okay, I will definitely hand it over to you. Li Fan almost did not hesitate and agreed. Although it was a little unfair to Zhang Feng, as long as Murong-Ying did not hate him, Li Fan did not care about Zhang Feng's matter. Say, what happened to Murong Villa? Li Fan could not help but ask, he was a little uncertain. When I left, a few experts sneak attacked the villa. Murong-Ying did not doubt him and directly answered, the people of the villa suffered heavy casualties, and the whole family was almost exterminated. Ah. Li Fan held back his cold sweat and asked, do you know who did it? I am not sure, I only know that it was 5 top experts. Murong-Ying shook her head, however, during the fight, the token of 7 Knights Villa fell from their bodies. What? Li Fan was shocked. Don't worry, I will not be provoked by this kind of villain. Murong-Ying sneered, there is only one person in the entire Jianghu who would do this kind of thing. You mean? Zhang Feng. Yes. Murong-Ying's eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. Only that villain would hide his head and show his tail. He destroyed my villa and framed you. What a joke. Do you think that I, Murong-Ying, will fall for such a childish trick? This Zhang Feng is too vicious. Li Fan cursed fiercely. Yes. It's all thanks to him that our villa has met with this calamity. Sooner or later, I will chop off his head and offer it to the manor. The Murong villa is gone. Do you still want to go back? Despite knowing about this devastating blow, Murong Ying's expression didn't change much. I've already scattered the disciples and elites of the villa to the various branches. Murong Ying said, those who go to various places and wield great power are all people of my faction. Those who stayed in the villa were diehards who disobeyed me. Although the villa has encountered a great disaster, it has helped me get rid of these guys. Your luck is simply off the charts. Li Fan didn't know what to say. This matter was a freak combination of factors. It was really too strange. He had thought of asking Wang Xiaoran to train a few men of sacrifice to destroy the Murong villa while he and Murong Ying were on their way to the Demon Island. This way, Murong Ying wouldn't have anything to worry about and would naturally return to his side. But after seeing Murong Ying, Li Fan's heart softened and he asked Wang Xiaoran to stop the plan. Wang Xiaoran usually respected and loved him. Moreover, she was very sensible and would definitely not disobey his orders. In the end, who was the person who went to the Murong family to make a move? Could it be Jiang Feng's people? This was possible. After all, even if Wang Xiaoran led the 7 hero swordsmen to do this, they wouldn't be so stupid as to throw away the villa's token. Apart from Jiang Feng, who else would be able to do such a thing? This had nothing to do with him. Thinking about it, it was really a legend. Speaking of which, Murong Ying suddenly looked at Li Fan carefully, causing him to have goosebumps. Could it be that Murong Ying noticed something? There's one thing. Do you know? What is it? Li Fan wondered if Murong Ying had already found out and was trying to get information from him. The martial arts circle convention is about to begin. Murong Ying's words made Li Fan feel at ease. Seeing that the Martial Imperial Palace is about to appear, the martial arts circle convention this time is very important. Everyone definitely wants to elect the Martial Arts Alliance leader as soon as possible and then lead the Martial Arts Alliance to deal with the Martial Imperial Palace. That Martial Emperor is indeed quite powerful, but if you and I perform the Yin-Yang Dragon and Phoenix Sword together, even Martial Emperor Liao Ju shouldn't be a match for us. That's true, but I'm just curious. Will you participate in the Martial Arts Circle Convention? Murong Ying asked what was on her mind. I'm no longer a member of the Central Plains Martial Arts Circle. I don't think I'm qualified to participate in the Martial Arts Circle Convention. Li Fan smiled as if he was mocking himself. Speaking of which, you've done a lot for the martial arts circle. You shouldn't retire. It doesn't matter. It's good to leave the Central Plains. When I return to the Leaf Family Island, I can worry less. Yes, the Leaf Family Island has been built very well now. Bai Lin Luo was also a little proud. Everything is on the right track. With the help of the Minister of Construction, Honda Sakura, the school, hospital, police station, library, and all kinds of facilities on the island have been built. Moreover, according to your request, we built the world's largest, richest, and most luxurious amusement park on the island. Not to mention other things, there's a roller coaster around the island in the amusement park. This alone is enough to attract tourists from all over the world. A roller coaster around the island? How is that possible? Murong Ying didn't believe it. Even if it can be made, the maintenance cost will be a huge sum of money, right? Ha, sister-in-law, I'm not lying. Bai Lin Luo was even more proud. This roller coaster around the city was made with the newly developed levitation technology. The maintenance cost is not high. In order to consider the psychological endurance of the public, our roller coaster is not particularly intense. It's mainly for sightseeing and play. We tried it for a period of time, and the response was good. Moreover, I also sat on it once, and I could see the whole island scenery. It's very beautiful. You set the Leaf Family Island as a tourist city? Muronging asked. Well, such a beautiful place is naturally the best as a tourist city. There are few resources on the island, and the service industry can save the economy. Moreover, it's not just tourism. We're also training mercenaries on the island. Mercenaries? Muronging was a little surprised. Li Fan actually thought of this step. Yes, use the war to pay back the money, and then use the war to train my army. Li Fan was full of confidence. I want the Leaf Family Island's army to be famous all over the world. I want everyone to tremble in fear at the mention of this army. Since you've already made your plan, I won't say anything. Muronging no longer spoke and began to close her eyes to rest. But in her heart, there was only one thing. If Li Fan wanted to withdraw from the underworld, perhaps it wouldn't be that easy. Chapter 1423. The Seven Knights Villa was very lively recently. This was because the villa lord, Li Fan, was going to retire in the next few days. This was indeed a big deal for the entire pugilistic world. Husband, are you really going to retire from the pugilistic world? At this moment, Chun-er and Dong-er were brewing tea for Li Fan by a small lake in the villa. Yes. What's wrong? Chun-er, are you unhappy? Li Fan stretched out his hand and gently pinched the pretty maid's nose. Not really. Chun-er is husband's sword maid. She will do whatever husband wants. It's just that you can't stand the loneliness and like the mortal world. Dong-er ridiculed her good sister. I think the Leaf Family Island is not bad. It's like a paradise. We can live there and get away from the mortal world. It's good. Dong had a cold personality. She was like a little dragon girl. She was as pure as ice and as clean as jade. She was indeed different from Chun-er. Chun-er liked to be lively, but she liked to be quiet. You little girl, you dare to tease me. Chun-er lightly tapped Dong-er's forehead with her finger. The four of us are used to staying in the tower. Whether it's lively or cold, it's all gone. But husband is different. He's only in his early 20s. It's time for him to do something big. How can he live in seclusion at such a young age? Chun doesn't think it's appropriate. Don't worry. Even if I go to the Leaf Family Island, I won't live in seclusion. Li Fan chuckled. Watching the two girls quarrel, he found it very interesting. The two girls looked exactly the same, and they looked very charming when they quarreled. Furthermore, both of them were beautiful girls. If there was even one of them, it would already be considered a peerless beauty in the world. But now, there were four of them, and all of them were accompanying him. This was truly a blessing for his ancestors. The Leaf Family Island is also a good place. The scenery is beautiful, and there are many people accompanying us. When I go there, the Seven Knights Villa will be there too. I'll continue to cultivate and hone my strength. Thinking of the gap between him and the nine-tailed divine fox, Li Fan felt a little unwilling. However, he didn't find the hero's token or the so-called true immortal technique. It looked like he would have to wait until the nine-tailed divine fox woke up to find out. Husband, although that island is good, it is only a small island. How can it be compared to the vast land of Huaxia? Chun-er reminded Li Fan. Also, don't forget that old master has instructed you to do something. You haven't done it yet. Are you talking about challenging the four holy tower? Li Fan snorted. These four sages are avoiding their responsibilities, hiding in the pagoda and refusing to come out. Even without Miss White Tiger's instructions, would still go and settle this debt with them. Back then, the Azure Dragon had caused trouble for him, and he reckoned that he would come again in the future. Li Fan wasn't an indecisive person. He hadn't had a chance to mess with them in the past, but now that he had taken care of everything, he had also subdued the nine-tailed divine fox. After washing his hands, he would go and have a heart-to-heart talk with those four fellows. But the 4 Saint Pagodas are all in China. If you leave, how will you deal with them? Ha, it's not like I can't return to Huaxia. Little girl, you really like to worry for others. Li Fan laughed and pinched Chun Er's nose again. When you visit the Li family island, you will fall in love with it. Li Fan introduced his Li family island. You will find it very beautiful. Yes, no matter where you go, we will not leave you. Chun Er said immediately. Dong Er, I have something to ask you. Li Fan suddenly thought of the nine-tailed divine fox, so he looked at Dong Er. Young master, feel free to ask. Dong Er answered as she washed the tea. You are well-read and knowledgeable. Do you know of a secret technique called the true immortal technique? Dong Er knows a little. Dong Er was indeed Li Fan's little encyclopedia. The true immortal technique is rumored to be a cultivation technique that Lu Dongbin passed on to mortals when he descended to the mortal world. But I heard that this secret technique has been lost. Only the Heaven Alliance's leader, Lu Jinchan, knows the general formula. Yes, he engraved the general formula on the hero's token, but it was taken away by the nine-tailed divine fox. So I want to ask, do you know what this mnemonic formula is? A mnemonic formula can allow one to cultivate and attain the Tao. To be honest, Li Fan did not really believe it. Dong Er really doesn't know. Dong Er shook her head. Li Fan was slightly disappointed. But you don't have to worry about it, young master. The true immortal technique has a total of 9 mnemonic formulas and a set of acupoints. Even if you obtain the general formula, it is only the first mnemonic formula. It can only allow you to cultivate to the first level. Although it can be considered as stepping onto the path of cultivation, it is not very useful. What do you mean? Li Fan was a little interested. Young master might not know, but if a mortal cultivates, they would have to cultivate from the 1st to the 9th level. The first level only allows one to absorb the heaven and earth yuan qi. In addition, it has the effect of increasing one's lifespan. After cultivating it, one's lifespan would be doubled. Doubled? In other words, after cultivating the first level, one can live up to 200 years old. More or less. After all, it is absorbing the heaven and earth yuan qi. Naturally, it can cleanse the bones and improve the body's functions. Oh, I understand. Li Fan suddenly realized, this mnemonic formula, other than being a path to step onto the path of cultivation, is actually a method used by martial arts experts to improve their physique. Cleanse the bones and absorb the heaven and earth yuan qi. For cultivators, these might only be the foundation. But for practicing martial arts, it was a unique advantage. My pure young body, when I cultivate, I am much faster than ordinary people. Who knows how many people are envious of me? And if a cultivator uses a cultivator's physique to cultivate, I am afraid he would advance 100 miles in a day. No wonder that fatty Long Fangyu is so anxious to get this hero's token. It seems like he has this in mind. With this mnemonic formula, it is equivalent to quickly nurturing a group of martial arts experts. After experiencing a calamity in the martial arts world, Whistling West Wind has lost a lot of talents. That is why there is an urgent need to quickly create more talents. It can be used to create weapons and cultivate, how is it not good? Li Fan slightly frowns. If that is the case, this hero's token is probably a hot potato. Luo Shuowu has already left the villa with Yi Jian. Li Fan has no way to ask her about the hero's token. Who was the one who leaked the information about the hero's token? Previously, Yi Jian also held the hero's token, but it did not attract the covetous eyes of other sections. Later on, Long Fangyu found out. Li Fan suddenly starts to suspect, could it be that there is a spy within Yi Jian? This is very possible. With Long Fangyu's methods, it is possible for him to do such a thing. Villa Master, a Shaolin monk requests an audience. A sword guard kneels by the lake and uses his inner force to transmit his voice. Chapter 1424. The people from Shaolin are here. Li Fan was a little surprised. Although tomorrow was his golden basin washing ceremony, he didn't invite anyone from Shaolin. It could be said that Li Fan only invited some of his former friends from the escort agency. This golden basin washing ceremony was just a formality. He didn't want to make it too exaggerated. But now that he was the master of a villa, he had to do it. Some rules of Jianghu still had to be followed. If he really wanted to retire from Jianghu, he had to wash his hands and announce to the world that he would no longer interfere with Jianghu matters. No matter what, rules were rules. Since Li Fan was in Jianghu, he had to do things according to these rules. However, he didn't invite people from other sects because he was afraid of trouble. Now that Jianghu had regained its vitality, Li Fan was about to retire, so he didn't want to disturb them. They are already outside, and there are people from Wudong, Huashan, Amei, all the big sects are here. Li Fan frowned slightly. I'm just washing my hands, why do so many people want to watch? Forget it. Since they're here, treat them well. Master, you don't want to see them. No, I'm going to wash my hands tomorrow, what's the point of seeing them today? Li Fan waved his hand, since I'm going to retire from Jianghu, let's be thorough. I'm not familiar with the people from the big sects, and I don't want to know them in the future. Okay, then I'll take my leave. The sword guard retreated. Husband, won't we anger them if we do that? As Li Fan's sword servant, Chun He naturally had to remind him at the appropriate time. So be it. Li Fan didn't care. Chun He, do you know what my nickname is in Jianghu? Chun He didn't say anything, she just smiled and looked at Dong Er. Young Master's nickname is Little Overlord, and you're considered the most outstanding newcomer in Jianghu. Dong Er is really knowledgeable. Young Master, you flatter me. Li Fan took a sip of tea and said slowly, these 8 big sects do have some experts. Perhaps other people in the martial arts world would naturally be willing to befriend them. My husband is their benefactor. They must have taken the opportunity to come and thank you. That's even more unnecessary. Everything I do is to follow my heart. I don't want anyone to owe me anything. Li Fan suddenly remembered something. By the way, how's Murong Villa recently? The Murong Villa has been quiet recently. Although it has experienced a disaster, it doesn't seem to have been damaged fundamentally. Dong Er reported. And, that's good. Li Fan nodded. Murong naturally had her own way of managing the manor. Since she was taking good care of him, there was no need for him to intervene. You two stay here with me. I plan on practicing my 9 dragons art. Hubby, haven't you already mastered the 9 dragons mantra? Chun Er was a little puzzled. How can I still cultivate? The 9 dragons mantra had a total of 9 layers. Each layer corresponded to a major acupoint. Li Fan had already broken through the 9th acupoint and perfected the mantra. He could now absorb the chi of heaven and earth between breaths to quickly recover his strength. However, this was not enough for Li Fan. The 9-tailed divine fox reminded herself to be careful of the people from Sky Beyond. In that case, the people from Sky Beyond were probably stronger than her, right? What was the strongest power in this world? It should be the god level or even higher. However, for a normal person, reaching the saint level was already the limit. The reason why the nine-tailed divine fox was a god-level expert was that she had transmigrated from another dimension. To break through to the god level, how could it be done with just a few words? For Li Fan, the road ahead of him was really long. I feel that there is a threshold to break through. I want to try and see if I can break through to the next level of my 9 dragons mantra. Li Fan did not want to rely on the true immortal mantra. He only wanted to improve with his own martial arts. Who was he? The little tyrant of the current generation. Lu Jinchan had the proof of entry to the true immortal mantra back then. Why did he not cultivate it? Why did he put it in the hero's token for his descendants to learn? This meant that to this big shot, the true immortal mantra was not considered a requirement. His pride did not allow him to cultivate immortal mantras left behind by others. Lu Jinchan was probably thinking the same thing as him. Even immortals had to train step by step to reach their current level. Since they could do it, why couldn't he? In that case, he would use his own hands to break through the limits of humans. Since my husband wants to cultivate, then the 4 of us will protect you. Chun was 100% supportive of Li Fan. Since her husband wanted to cultivate, then the 4 of them had to play the role of sword servants. I will go and find Xia and Qiu. Dong turned and left. Li Fan looked at the surrounding scenery. This man-made lake was not considered big. There was a stream around it that sent in fresh water, which made the water in the lake lively. In this lake, Li Fan also raised some koi. The red koi formed schools and swam back and forth in the lake. Chun stood by the lake and sprinkled some bait. The fish came over to fight for food. I will try in the water. Li Fan felt that if he wanted to break through, he had to do something different. He jumped into the lake and let his whole body sink into the water. Although he could not breathe in the water, Li Fan had already cultivated to the sage tier. He could breathe in the heaven and earth yuan qi. In the water, his turtle breathing technique could also break through from 2 hours to 2 days and 2 nights. After Li Fan cultivated the mysterious ice-cold qi, he always felt that he was very close to water. Now that he was in the water, he might be able to make a breakthrough. The 4 sword servants also stood by the lake and started to protect Li Fan. Li Fan's whole body sank to the bottom of the lake. He could clearly feel the cold air around him. He started to enter the stage of inner vision. Li Fan could clearly see that all the meridians in his body had been opened. The yuan qi was like a real dragon, swimming in the meridians according to the path of cultivation. But cultivating now was only to replenish the internal energy in his dantian. It could not help him advance to the next level. In other words, Li Fan's strength had already reached the peak. If he did not cultivate a new immortal technique, he would not be able to break through. According to Dong cultivating immortal technique was based on the 9 heavens. Cultivating the first level would allow one to break through to the first heavens. Cultivating to the 9th level would naturally allow one to break through to the 9 heavens. But Dong only had the theory and did not have the specific method of cultivation. Naturally, she could not guide Li Fan on what the 9 heavens was. Li Fan compared his internal energy and began to ponder. He was currently soaking in the water. There was a feeling of harmony between water and milk. He did not know if babies felt this comfortable when they were in their mother's body. Under this feeling, Li Fan began to examine his meridians. Looking at the quietly flowing internal energy, Li Fan suddenly had a strange idea. Chapter 14:25. Since he had cultivated his inner force, he had already reached a peak. Then, why not try cultivating in the opposite direction? Although this action was a little suicidal, Li Fan was only in his early 20s. To be able to cultivate such a martial art at such a young age, and not have the chance to advance further, to him, it was a little painful. Li Fan wanted to become stronger and continuously climb higher, so he could only seek victory in the midst of danger. He wanted to try the effect of putting himself in a dead end. And for Li Fan, being in the water was a good way to protect himself. After Li Fan cultivated the profound ice-cold qi, when he was in the water, it actually had the effect of quickly healing his body. Fight! Li Fan secretly made up his mind. There were only a few gambles in life. How would he know the result if he did not try? The more people in the past did not dare to do something, the more Li Fan had to try it. Vital energy flowed through his body abnormally smoothly. Li Fan's meridians were wide and thick like a river, allowing the vital energy to flow unimpeded and quickly complete a circulatory cycle. But this time, Li Fan made up his mind. He gritted his teeth and forcefully stopped the vital energy in his body. Just this pause caused Li Fan's heart meridian to be severely injured. His heart felt like it was being smashed by a sledgehammer, causing Li Fan to spit out a mouthful of blood. It was really terrifying. Cultivating in the opposite direction caused great harm to Li Fan, but he endured it all. He endured the pain and circulated the vital energy in his body. He followed the direction of the 9 dragons art and started to let the vital energy flow in the opposite direction. Just this caused Li Fan to suffer greatly. When the vital energy flowed in reverse, it was like a dagger that tore through his meridians. This was an intense pain of his meridians being torn apart, causing Li Fan to almost cry out in pain. It was too painful. Fuck, if not for the surrounding waves constantly nourishing Li Fan's body and repairing his injured meridians, Li Fan would probably have been crippled. Even so, the pain did not lessen at all. It continued to torment Li Fan's body and spirit. But Li Fan relied on his amazing willpower to endure it. However, the 4 beautiful sword servants on the shore felt their hearts ache when they saw this. Li Fan's expression had already begun to distort, and the water around him had even begun to swirl, forming a small whirlpool. It was as if it wanted to magnify Li Fan's pain. What kind of martial arts is master practicing? It looks so painful. I'm so envious, Chiao couldn't help but ask. You're talking nonsense again. Dong scolded softly. Even though she was a self-disciplined person, she couldn't help but feel a little touched when she saw Li Fan's expression. Li Fan, he's trying too hard. It seems like he's cultivating his meridians in reverse. Wasn't this equivalent to crippling his own martial arts? Reverse meridian training. Xia was the most skilled among the 4 of them. She soon realized what was going on. She screamed and jumped into the lake. What are you doing? Chun reached out to stop her. I'm going down to save him. You're not allowed to go. Chun refused to let Xia go. Why? If this goes on, even if he doesn't die, he'll be crippled. This is my husband's idea, Chun said resolutely. However, Chun said resolutely, no matter what husband wants to do, Chun will help him. Since my husband wants to try cultivating his meridians in reverse, let him do it. Isn't this courting death? Xia was anxious. She had been with Li Fan for so long. Although she was still hot-tempered, she had developed some feelings for this gentle and powerful master of hers, Li Fan. At this moment, Li Fan's situation was critical. She was extremely anxious, and tears welled up in her eyes. I believe in my husband. Chun on the other hand, was calm and composed. Think about it. Has my husband ever made a mistake? Since he's doing this, he naturally has his reasons. But what if something really happens? If something really happens, we'll use the heaven reversing art. Chun said without hesitation. You're crazy. Heaven reversing art, but isn't it just a life? Chun-er can give it to him. Chun-er looked at Li Fan in the lake. If my husband needs it, Chun-er's life will be yours anytime. You're really infuriating. Xia stomped her feet in anger. Go and guard Mr. well. The manor has been rather chaotic these few days. The four of us are very important. Do not let anyone disturb Mr. This man-made lake was originally a forbidden area in the manor. Li Fan liked to meditate and cultivate here. However, if the people in the manor did not come, it was hard to say what the people outside the manor would do. Xia had no choice but to return to her position and silently guard her husband. At this moment, Li Fan had already controlled his elemental qi and forcefully circulated it in his body in reverse. After this circulation, his meridians were riddled with injuries. At the same time, his dantian had weakened. Li Fan even believed that if he continued cultivating, his dantian might explode. Should he continue cultivating? It was not too late to turn back now. Once he cultivated to the end, his meridians and dantian would be damaged to an irreversible state. It was even possible that these two aspects would be destroyed and Li Fan would never be able to cultivate back to the martial saint stage. A choice was placed in front of Li Fan, allowing him to choose. One was a golden path, the other was a path of no return. Li Fan gritted his teeth and stomped his feet. Damn it, continue cultivating. What's there to be afraid of if my martial arts deteriorate? At most, I'll start all over again. He ignored his internal injuries and continued to forcefully circulate his inner energy in reverse. As the number of circulations in reverse increased, Li Fan's physical condition worsened. However, he did not know why, but he seemed to vaguely hear someone talking to him. Break and rebuild, the divine art is complete. Li Fan did not know if he was hallucinating, but he continued to circulate his inner energy according to his will. The whirlpool in the lake slowly expanded. Li Fan felt as if he had completely integrated with the lake. Even those beautiful koi fish were constantly swimming around Li Fan, as if they were observing this special human. Li Fan realized that as he reversed more and more meridians, the speed at which he reversed also became faster and faster. However, at the same time, the pain was also getting stronger. Li Fan did not know how to describe the level of pain. It was said that giving birth to a child was a level 13 pain. Li Fan had never given birth before, but he felt that he was almost there. The pain made his eyes turn black and he almost fainted. If not for his strong mental power, he would have fainted long ago. Li Fan's reversed meridians had reached a terrifying level. Every meridian in his body seemed to have withered and lost its vitality. And Li Fan's body was also glowing with a greenish-white color, looking very frightening. At this moment, the remaining inner energy in his dantian seemed to want to wholeheartedly protect its master. It suddenly rushed out from his dantian and collided with this reversed inner energy. You're tuning in to the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.